Hey!
Welcome back to Splice and Splatter, the official film podcast of Highgarden Entertainment in Santa Fe, New Mexico, where classic horror.
It's modern gore.
We're your hosts. I'm Siena.
And I'm Al, and it's my birthday!
It's the birthday Al-stravaganza.
I usually hate my birthday, but I'm actually excited about this one.
This one feels like it's a good birthday year for Al.
Yeah.
We're going to speak that into existence on the pod. Pod manifestation.
It's a scary one because I'm ticking over the point of my 30s to where I'm closer to my 40s, and that's gross.
I mean,
on the inside, I don't feel it. And so it's weird.
These movies teach us, time is different in the afterlife.
Yeah, truly.
So it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited about it. It's actually everyone. You're all listening on my birthday.
Yeah.
So we all get to celebrate
Al.
together.
Yeah.
It was, thanks for helping me with these picks because I was overthinking it. And now I'm really glad that you encouraged me to
do Beetlejuice.
Yeah, because I mean, let's just go into it. Beetlejuice. I mean, Tim Burton is like the reason I went to film school. I have a Tim Burton tattoo. This is probably one of my most watched films of all time in my entire life of anything ever. Maybe Pride and Prejudice is catching up lately, but
kind of surprising though that this is our first Burton. Correct?
I know.
Yeah.
I'm glad that it was saved for this though, because
for a special occasion.
Yeah, he is like so easy to talk about in the horror realm of things, but he is like, you know, I get upset with some of his newer things just because he's lost the Tim Burton-ness of himself, which is practical. But I mean, this is Beetlejuice is what made him. This is what launched his career.
It's kind of like the quintessence of Tim Burton.
Yeah, it's like everything
very distilled. Yeah.
So happy about this one. Pet Sematary is also I mean, I've wanted a church tattoo for the longest time. Baby Gage is one of the only babies I like in a movie.
Truly.
The daughter can go to hell though. Fuck her. Not a fan of her. She should have gotten hit by the truck.
We're going to talk so much about...
See, I don't know a lot about the making of, so I'm very... because both of these, like the practical effects, just the tones of these, like Pet Sematary is one I look forward to watching around the fall time almost can't wait.
Why. Yeah.
And it was your first.
It was my first watch. And
can we just talk? I'm like, I know you're second, but I really want to talk about your time.
I'm so delighted now to know more about Mary Lambert, the director. Like, I'm just so charmed by her as a human being, especially after having read, like, spoiler alert, she ran such a kind, careful set. And, like, especially, like, in a movie with, as you know, like, lots of kids and animals doing really hard stuff.
Yeah.
Like, the degree of... the amount of care that she put into making sure that like everyone had the best possible experience is just like it's a really delightful story.
Women on set, man.
Truly, like there's no upsetting like snake death stories here.
Good.
Only good vibes from here on out.
Yeah, because sometimes I'm very curious if you have any information, and I'm curious if anyone else like sees this every time. But when like church, like when he gives them the shot, I'm like so curious if you have any.
I do.
Okay, cool. I'm sure all of us have. If you don't know, have that question.
And it's actually so cute.
Is it sweet? Okay.
It's really sweet. Yeah, no,
I am happy to hear that.
It's so responsible.
Okay.
It's like it's hilarious. It's everything you want the story to be that you're afraid it won't be. So really good. Yeah, again, good vibes for these birthday picks.
Good.
Yeah.
Speaking of good vibes, we have some exciting good vibe things. Speaking of animals, we are playing Pet Sematary at the Jean Cocteau on October 4th. We are going to have the Santa Fe Animal Shelter be there. We're looking you're hearing this, they're looking for volunteers. So if you want to volunteer to have a little sleepover with the pup that night, they have to sleep with someone. You'll miss the movie, but we're going to give you guys some like little goodies if you offer to volunteer.
And you get a puppy sleepover.
I was going to say, like, you can watch it at home with them.
Yeah, that is a bonus in and of itself.
Yeah,
right?
You're doing good.
Yeah.
So we're doing that on October 4th. So tickets are at jeancocteaucinema.com. We're also doing... we're at MORGUE.
Yes.
We're doing a podcasting 101 panel of kind of just like how we started the podcast as like two people who didn't have experience doing that. I think is a really fun way to just like come ask questions and we'll just kind of talk about how we're doing it.
Kind of freewheeling.
Yeah, we're kind of just
freewheeling pod.
We're just hanging out and talking about pods. And then we're also doing a live show that Sunday at MORGUE and KRYPT. So tickets are on sale for that. We also have all the information of like when and where we'll be for those.
That is pinned on our Instagram currently if you want to see the full calendar thing.
Yeah, we got
there.
merch that we're gonna debut. We have flannels that we're working on. Literally, we'll probably get them like right before MORGUE and KRYPT, which we're excited about. And then we're also doing our Halloween show. We're actually doing a live show again. Devil's Night. We're doing Halloween,
which I'm so excited for. I also, I was watching a video that involved several clips from the original Halloween yesterday, but I still have not seen Halloween.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited for that.
Oh God, it's just gonna feel so fall and
Yeah.
I'm very excited to. I thought I owned it on DVD. Very sad to learn that I just own the new, the new the 3-pack, and then the Rob Zombie one. So
that tracks for you. I have to say,
damn, I gotta get that one. So.
That's
but yeah,
not surprising.
Those are all the fun things. That's why I think like birthday month feels fun. We're doing so many cool things.
Lots of fun stuff. But that's not all of the fun things because we just did our first
guest
appearance on another podcast.
We did, guys.
We got invited to come on another gay horror pod,
which the most fitting thing to be asked to be on.
Yeah, been obsessed with them since they first started.
We've followed each other for
a long
while.
time. Yeah. And it was a really lovely way, I think, as we said, like nice little lavender marriage to take our
we said there need to be more
guest virginity
horror pod lavender marriages. They were so delightful. Shout out to Jesse and Stuart for having us on. We got to talk about
Tenebrae, which is apparently like the gayest Dario Argento movie. I had no idea how gay it was going to be.
It was amazing.
So gay.
It was. We were all so excited to talk about it.
It really was. We both said both before and after the episode, like they really picked the right one to have us on.
It was perfect. And also, I think it was finally like I enjoyed when you brought giallo on here, but I think it like kind of solidified that I really do love giallo, and I have to expand my giallo knowledge. So I'm excited to like dip my toe in, especially I think October is like a fun time for me to start kind of
it's a good giallo month.
So that was fun. It should be streaming now. We did like 2 parts with them, so definitely check out.
We will be posting as they go live. We know that they're going up sometime in September.
Yes.
I'm not sure exactly what days. I know they release on Mondays,
post.
and one chunk is happening one Monday and one chunk the next Monday, but I don't know which Monday. So
we'll post on socials.
Check our socials. Yeah. It'll be
we
there.
don't know, but you'll know by now.
Exactly.
You're in the future. Yay, those are all the fun things.
Fantastic.
Oh my God.
Do you have a tidbit to start us off with? I feel like for this film you have to have a tidbit.
I definitely have tidbits. I do. Do you have one that like links ours? Because I never have one that links our films.
I don't have one that links them.
Okay.
I have one that links Pet Sematary to a whole bunch of other horror media, but it doesn't link it to Beetlejuice, unfortunately.
Okay. Mine doesn't link either. So do you want to go first? You want me to go first? Who's more excited? You go first.
How about I'll go first because that way yours can lead into the rest of the Beetlejuice chat. The Beetle chat.
The Beetle chat.
So Pet Sematary, 1989. As I said, this is a film that references a lot of other horror media, not just horror films, but horror media. So I wanted to start us off with kind of a sprinkling of some of the biggest reference points that it has. It shares the Stephen King universe with Salem's Lot and The Shining. It's implied that the Creeds have The Shining, and that's made more clear in the book of Pet Sematary, but watching knowing that kind of gives you a little bit of an understanding of some of the stuff that's going on. The others, though, it just gets more explicit from there. So, the scene in the vet clinic?
Yeah.
There is a rabies poster with Cujo on it in the background.
Of course.
There's also a Bride of Frankenstein line when Timmy Bateman shouts out, "Love dead, hate living."
Oh, God, that's a good line.
Right? So it's kind of full of these little... Oh, and one more. Judd.
Yeah.
He mentions that his pet was named Spot.
Yeah. Oh.
His dog, the one that died. that is also the name of Fred Munster's pet dragon in the Munsters.
God, I gotta rewatch the Munsters. Did we? I think we like mentioned it.
We mentioned that
that's
that
where,
Judd is in the Munsters. But yeah, so Judd's dog Spot, who we see, Spot is the one in the Pet Sematary, who like a lot of the action revolves around Spot. His name is a shout out to the Munster history.
Oh,
yeah.
I love Judd. Bless Judd.
Oh, we're gonna talk so much about Judd.
He's so good.
As we get into it. It sounds like he was, again, all good vibes. Fred Munster, such a sweet guy.
Okay. Yeah, he seems really sweet.
Yeah.
I love that.
So that's our little horror sprinkling appetizer.
I was gonna say I had 2, and one of mine was kind of Easter eggs, so I'll start with that
there
one.
There you go.
So I think Warren had mentioned it like when we were off air, when we were wrapping up last week. Kind of speculating if we saw Jack Skellington at any point. He does make his first appearance in Beetlejuice. So Tim Burton had been drawing him. Yeah, since 1982, he'd been drawing sketches of Jack Skellington. And so he's the head topper on the little merry-go-round. That's when he first makes his on-screen appearance.
Debut.
But that wasn't it. So there's some other kind of nods. So, when they're talking, when Juno, the caseworker, is talking to the football team, and we see that, like,
funny.
Juno's, like, one of the best characters ever.
The football team collectively is one of the best characters. Coach, I don't think we survived, Coach.
It's just like, what do you think gave that away? Yeah, her reaction to that is great. So we see the theater like mirrored. So basically it was supposed to be mirrored, like the audience was seeing themselves in that scene. But for anyone who has watched Mars Attacks, you'll see that there were 2 skeletons. There's a red and a green, which is what Tim Burton ends up using for the skeletons when people get zapped in Mars Attacks. So those were the first appearances.
That's so cute.
In this. Yeah, I love that he kind of carries, which makes sense. He probably has a sketchbook full of shit. I would love to go through all of his sketchbooks one day. So those are the little nods that we have.
That. Very, very connected tids. That, of course, like both of these, Stephen King and Tim Burton would both have these like expansive universes that connect their projects.
I kind of have a Stephen King. Oh man, I'm like, do I want to? I mean, it's not huge. I didn't like write it down or anything, but
I feel like you shout it out now.
I think it was a YouTube video I was watching about like fun facts and shit. And I think Stephen King said that this was like he loved the originality of the Beetlejuice script.
I love that.
Which
that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
That it would be up
so I guess that's like kind of a tie-in.
Yeah, there is a tie-in. Look at that, a tie-in tid.
Yay! I did it. For once. I do have another tid that I want to start with, and it's about the names. So if we're ready to jump in.
Yes, please.
Also, I want to point out, I didn't realize, I was born in 89, so it's fun that Pet Sematary, and then this is 88.
Yeah.
So
right on track.
Birthdays. So Beetlejuice didn't always have the title Beetlejuice. It went through some other things. Yeah, it seems so. It's what Tim Burton wanted.
Okay, that makes sense.
I found out it took a few internet sleuthings. Apparently, the copyright for Beetlejuice was already had by like a sci-fi film. And so
with that spelling too?
I'm assuming in some way. I feel like with copyright, some people grab a little bit of everything.
That's true. Yeah, they'll grab like alternates.
Yeah, or maybe that's why. So it's I don't know, 1988, it's very hard to find truthful things. So I've heard contradictory things of like certain facts that I'm about to share with you all. It's really hard to find what's true or not.
I encounter that a lot as well. Especially like you can find I found this a lot with my films from this period where it's like you'll find interviews with the creatives saying completely contradictory things.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Or just the internet talking about it. And you're like, where did you get, where are your sources?
Yeah. Where's your primary source?
So I tried to pull quotes. So Beetlejuice wasn't called Beetlejuice because there was a sci-fi film that held the copyright. And they got lucky because the copyright was set to expire. And so at like midnight and a minute, they filed all the paperwork to make sure they got it. But there were, the producers had a different name that they wanted to go with, which was House Ghosts, as producers would with the boring House Ghosts. And so Tim Burton was like, I will literally throw myself out of a window if we do this. And so he kind of made a joke. He's like, why don't we call it Scared Sheetless? And they were like, oh my God, that's great. We should. And he was like,
That
if
was
you
a
do
joke.
this, he's like, I will walk from this
Oh
project.
my God.
And so again, so this all happened. But imagine if we had a film that was either called House Ghosts
or Scared Sheetless.
I don't know which one's
God.
worse, in my opinion.
At least Scared Sheetless gets some of the humor
Like
across.
yeah, which put a pin in the humor of this
Great.
film. So that's kind of where I want to start. We do have taglines. I think
Incredible.
everyone knows every fucking tagline to this film. We have "It's showtime," which is his great line. Say it once, say it twice, but we dare you to say it 3 times. I feel like this is something you would say.
I feel like it should be thrice, so it rhymes.
Say it thrice.
We dare you to say it thrice. Right?
See, we should be in the writer's room.
Somebody hire us.
He's guaranteed to put some life in your afterlife, which is a great one.
It's a good one.
He's the ghost with the most, of course.
That's the iconic.
We have in this house, ... If you've seen one ghost, ... You haven't seen them all.
Wow, that's bad.
Long.
Wow.
And then this one, I just like it because to your point of rhyming, it says, the name in laughter from the hereafter.
Okay, I love that. Especially I read that to myself in Michael Keaton's voice. Like I feel like it's very Beetlejuice.
Yes. Yeah. So we're gonna jump into Tim Burton, the man who did it all. So basically, I'm gonna give you a little bit of Tim Burton lore.
Yes,
this film he got after, so his first real big directing project was Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Which if anyone has not watched the Pee Wee Herman doc, do it. It's so great. They talk about it. I didn't realize, as someone who grew up watching Pee Wee's Playhouse, I didn't realize how big it was. And I didn't realize how big that film was and how big of a star he was. It's kind of incredible to watch this doc and hear about that. So Tim Burton basically became a bankable director after that.
Interesting.
But like we said earlier, this was kind of his stamp that he got to put on things. So, I'm like, do I want to tell you? I never know where to put these tidbits sometimes for like the most emphasis. He wasn't the first director that was supposed to be signed on to this project, which we'll talk about later. Oh, I might save it for later.
How is that possible? This is the
I'm like, do you
most
want to take
Tim Burton movie.
It is. But it didn't start out. I'm going to save it.
Okay.
So everyone put a pin.
Great.
And who was directing. Remind me to bring it back up
Okay,
again because I
fantastic.
might forget. Okay, so Tim Burton lore. Do you know much about his history?
Not nearly enough. Give me the basics.
So I have. Oh, I forgot to bring it in. I had a camera and everything.
Aww.
Shoot. I do have the camera, but I forgot about the books. So again, I'm a huge Tim Burton fan. And I have a book called Burton on Burton, which is incredible because this man doesn't give a lot of interviews. Yeah. He does not like to talk about things. If he does, he's kind of being a little sassy or like closed off. So a little bit of his lore. He grew up in a suburban neighborhood of Burbank, California, which makes sense of where we kind of get that suburban imagery. He lived across the street, I think, from a cemetery as well. So he always kind of like would look out the window and like long of these stories. He was a big sci-fi person, big horror kid.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So he used movies, as much of us do, as a means of escape from the mundane, saying, quote, "I went to see almost any monster movie, but it was the films of Vincent Price that spoke to me specifically for some reason," which I love that then he goes on to have him in his films. Growing up in suburbia in an atmosphere where I was perceived as nice and normal, but which I had feelings about, those movies had a way of certain feeling, and I realized them to the And I related to them to the place I was growing up in. I think that's why I responded so much to Edgar Allan Poe. So that was kind of him as a kid. He was very closed off. He made so many movies of his own as a kid, a lot of like battle movies even as well. And so fast forward to 1976, he was 18 years old and attending Cal Arts in California, which was founded by Walt Disney, which I always seem to forget.
Oh, I did not know
Yeah,
that.
I always,
Interesting.
because Cal Arts is just its own thing. I feel like at this point that I forget that Walt Disney.
I think of it in terms of the directors that came out of it.
Same.
Interesting.
So he actually won a scholarship for the program at Cal Arts that had been set up the previous year by Disney Studios as a training school for prospective animators. So year 2, Yeah, he gets invited. So he talks about this, saying, quote, Disney basically had the same animator since Snow White, and they had taken a very leisurely approach to training new people. They were trying to, they were trying to, of course they did, old white men. They were trying to teach these eager young new recruits to be animators. It was like being in the army. I've never been in the army, but the Disney program is probably about as close as I'll get. You're taught by Disney people. You're taught the Disney philosophy. It was kind of a funny atmosphere, but the first time I had been with a group of people with similar interests. They were similar outcast types, people who were ridiculed for their liking of Star Trek or whatever. So he kind of, for the first time, felt this belonging in this Disney group of people, which I think people forget to talk about sometimes, is that he started off this way. So he joined Disney officially in 1979 and worked as an animator on Fox and the Hound. So that was his first project.
Fascinating.
He says how they were a bad mix, kind of him and Disney. He said, for a year, I was probably more depressed than I'd ever been in my life. I worked for a great animator, Glenn Keane. He was nice. He was good to me. He was a really strong animator and helped me, but he also kind of tortured me because I got all the cute fox scenes to draw.
That's so funny.
He basically goes
They're trying
on
to like break his spirit.
With cutesy animals that anyone else would be very delighted. So he just talks about like, you know, it sounds fun, but imagine having to draw and like hear these voices over and over and have to draw these cute little foxes when that's not what we know him to do.
Reminding me of the story about how when DreamWorks was making Shrek, they were making, I think, Prince of Egypt at the same time, and nobody wanted to work on Shrek, so it was a punishment for people working on Prince of Egypt, and they'd call it getting Shrek'd.
Yeah, like, we talked about this, which is so funny because then it goes on to be like literally, I've been
so
rewatching them lately too.
That makes sense.
So good. But yeah, so he's sitting there drawing and just like, what it almost reminds me of the scene in the Addams Family when they make Wednesday go to the cabin and I think she has to watch like the Sound of Music to break her spirit. That was him in this room with Fox and the Hound. Thankfully for him, so that was 1979 when he first started. In 1982, he was actually given the money to produce Vincent, the short that I feel like all of us love, and is again like one of my favorite shorts of his to revisit. So he received $60K in financing from Walt Disney Productions by the head of creative development at the time.
God damn.
Because he really saw the potential in his,
on a short?
They like really believed in his style, which I think for someone at Disney, especially head of creative, to be like, I see this
that really
and I get
tells
it.
You something.
Yeah. So that's a little bit of his lore. And so, you know, he didn't have so he did things like that. And then he finally got Pee-wee's Big Adventure, and then came kind of the Hollywood of it all after. So that's a little bit of Tim Burton lore, where he came from, and how he tried to fit the mold and it just did not work. And I think he's best when he's not fitting the mold. So, writers. We have 3 writers. I think in the credits, only 2 are credited as writers, and one of the writers is credited as a producer.
And this is a WGA thing that we've run into before, where people who are getting producer credits are, at least during this period in Hollywood, the WGA was really strict about them not getting writer credits.
Oh.
So that would be
I wonder if it might be part of it. It was also, because they technically fired the one guy.
Oh my God, incredible.
So... even though they were a
sassy.
team. So, and I think we'll get more into it. I'm just going to briefly go over the writers and then we'll jump into script. But I think it was partly that. It was Larry Wilson.
Okay.
So we have Michael McDowell. This is the man who actually wrote Beetlejuice. Cool. So he kind of was both personally and professionally really obsessed with the idea of death and dying.
Amazing.
Same.
Yeah, aren't we all?
Yeah. He received a doctorate in English literature with a PhD and dissertation titled American Attitudes Towards Death. So he's,
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. So he's I want to kind of read some of his work. So he also was a prolific novelist and did a lot of like mystery, thriller, horror genres. I think this is where Stephen King said he was a fan of his works.
That makes a lot of sense.
So a lot of Southern Gothic horror, and he even had a large personal collection of historical death memorabilia.
Oh my God, amazing!
With his longtime partner Lawrence Senelick, who was also a American scholar, educator, and director. So again, once again, here I am with a gay man screenwriter. It seems to be a theme with me that some of my favorite films are written by gay men. I want to talk about their collection for a second. They had funeral cards, sheet musics for songs about death. I'm like, I want this so bad. Postmortem relics. They had human hair. They had memento mori jewelry. They had ads for funeral gowns. They had spirit photography and a bunch of other things. So after McDowell sadly died in 1999 of AIDS-related causes, but the Northwestern University had a special collection in their library that displayed these things in 2013 that he had. So I love that his partner was like, yes, please share these things with the world. He would want that. So I love the two of them together. We then have Larry Wilson. So he wrote 1991's The Addams Family, which I just talked about, and Little Vampire. So I feel like he kind of lived in this realm a little bit. So Larry was brought on board to kind of reshape Michael's screenplay, but they had creative differences. So that's kind of where he gets like kicked off a little bit, and he was replaced by Warren Scarron. And so Warren Scarron's kind of the guy that a lot of people talk about within this too, and then goes on to write Batman. God, my Michigan came out. Batman with Batman with Tim Burton.
Got it. Cool.
So getting into starring, Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice.
Incredible.
I wanted to be like, what is this man in?
Truly.
He's in fucking everything, so I don't even want to like go down that rabbit hole. He talks about how this is his favorite film in his career, and there's many reasons why.
I love that.
Yeah, but he was not the first choice. They actually had a really hard time casting this entire fucking project, mainly because of the material.
I can imagine.
It was really hard.
Some echoes of Heather's there.
Oh my God, yeah, absolutely. Especially when we talk about the screenplay. Do you want to take one guess at who Tim Burton really wanted for the role? I don't think you'll ever.
I feel like it has to be an SNL person.
No, that would be actually really... So when casting the role of Beetlejuice, they really wanted to go traditional comedians. This person is not a traditional comedian. In fact, this is a person that does music.
Al Pacino.
I know. I was going to say, like, it would be a solid guess. Sammy Davis Jr.
What?
Because Tim Burton was just a fan, and he really wanted him. I think he died a few years after this project, too, so I don't even know how that would have... I feel like he was older. I don't know. Sammy Davis Jr. Big fan. Double confirmed that in his book that he wrote that he wanted him. So that is confirmed that we could have had who I love.
I feel like I just like almost fainted from shock.
I know. It feels too absurd to be real.
It feels deeply wrong, but I also feel like I could understand why in an alternate universe where you had no idea of the Michael Keaton version, how that could potentially fit. I don't know.
Put a pin in that because the script was wildly different than what we have. I just realized the other person that the producers wanted to. I think you're gonna lose your mind even more. Everyone, I don't know. Don't drink coffee. Don't drink anything. Sit down. Buckle in. Eyes on the road if you're driving. So like I said, they wanted traditional comedians. They wanted Dudley Moore, who was like a comedian and composer.
Yeah.
And then Sam Kinison, who apparently was a real fucking piece of shit. So really happy. I guess the producers when they asked his managers, they didn't even like pass it on to him. So like, thank fuck.
Okay, great.
I don't even want to like, if you could guess the most out of place person to play Beetlejuice, A-list actor, action actor.
Sylvester Stallone.
Close. Arnold Schwarzenegger was considered for the role of Beetlejuice.
Okay.
Don't say you can see that.
I think it could have eaten
Where? Boo.
Barbara. Think about the accent.
Where are you going? I'm trying to haunt you. I'll be back. I'll be back. That would have been the iconic I'll be back.
I'm the ghost with the most.
I'm the ghost with the most, babes. Actually.
See what I mean?
Listen, they're making Beetlejuice.
Are they really?
So we could have him if we wanted.
There you go.
Just old Beetlejuice. Bring that man out of retirement.
God.
Yeah, Arnold. I mean, this project.
Like a fan to.
I know.
Fan myself from the shock.
Isn't that wild? They really didn't.
Gagged.
I
don't think they knew what they were dealing with.
They didn't.
Yeah.
And it kind of feels like this. The budget wasn't horribly small. They talk about how small it was. I don't think it was horribly small for the time at all. But they kind of talked about how it was just such a mess at the beginning because everyone was kind of just like left to their own devices. And I don't think anyone knew what they wanted it to be. They had trouble casting. So I think that at some point they were just trying to get anybody
with a name.
Yeah, truly. I'm trying to think of what else I have here.
Wow.
Yeah, it was finally the producer David Geffen who suggested Michael Keaton at the time because he was like, he's up and coming, he's doing some comedy.
Wow.
Yeah, Geffen actually had some good ideas about this project, which
really
was
good call for an executive. To make.
Again, as we don't talk about producers
unusual.
a lot. He was okay.
In
the scheme of things.
David Geffen on this particular instance. And nothing else.
This one. Also, just to get into a little teaser of performance, Michael Keaton based Beetlejuice off of Chop Top from the 1986 Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, who's played by Bill Moseley, who is one of my favorite horror actors. I love him. He's a sweet little bean. He's in Devil's Rejects, Rob Zombie. We have to cover Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. It is bonkers.
And I think, wasn't Bill Moseley at last year's Morgue and Crypt, I want to say?
I don't know. Was he? Yeah, he was there.
Yeah.
I don't think I can ever meet him because I love him so much. And it's not even like he's that, but like in the horror world, I love him so much. But yeah, I love that was kind of who he based his character off of. So we have Winona Ryder. Obviously, we talked about her last week in Heathers as Lydia Deetz. Many actresses auditioned for the role. Again, they were trying to find someone that was a little bit older, so they didn't have to deal with having an underage actress.
I mean, she still was at this point.
Yeah, she was 15.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. I think she might have even been 14 or like just had turned 15.
Still easier than working with like a 2-year-old with baby Gage.
Oh my God. I can't even imagine. Yeah. Once those are children.
Yeah.
She was a little bit wiser.
And she's like so again,
old soul.
Yeah. There's that like 80-year-old behind the eyes.
Even still in
There.
interviews.
Yeah.
She's so cute the way she talks. But yeah, so not only were they trying to find someone older, they were also trying to find more of an A-list star so they could get the pull. So they had actresses audition, including Sarah Jessica Parker, Brooke Shields, Laura Loughlin, Diane Lane, Molly Ringwald, Juliette Lewis, Jennifer Connelly. All auditioned. So they were really...
The only one I could make a case for is Juliette Lewis.
Me too.
The only one.
Because she's so weird. But even still...
It's got to be
Winona. It would have been more punk rock, I feel like, a little bit.
Winona's got the, like, uncanny silence to her that I think this character needs.
And she was... Yeah, she just embodied this character. So,
because she was a weird little homeschooled girl at the time.
Yeah,
like
she went to school.
She went to school by this point, but she'd grown up in a commune.
Oh my God! Oh yeah, she has. I forgot she's like hippie.
Heathers. Yeah. It was like that. She'd like. I think she only went to like a school with other kids when she was like 14.
I think it was just around this time, and then I'm assuming after this it just got so big that she couldn't.
I imagine.
Couldn't really go back.
So she had like a year of normal school, probably.
There was one actress that was like up for the role right before Winona Ryder, and it was Alyssa Milano. I didn't know she acted. Can she act?
With like a capital A. Yeah.
Yeah, like she acted, but did she act? So yeah, yikes. So Tim Burton really wanted to cast Winona Ryder after he saw her in the 1986 film Lucas, which I've not seen, but I'm like, oh my God, just baby. She already feels so baby in these, so I can't even imagine.
So young.
And so she went to go meet Tim Burton for the first time to kind of talk about the role on set. So she like met him. I don't know if he was working on a set or like he was working near a studio and he was like, come meet me here. So she got there. She was waiting for him for about a half an hour and just chatting like movies with a guy that came in from like, she's assuming the art department. So they were talking like Edward Gorey, and just kind of
course.
Yeah, talking just about like music, stuff like that. And she kind of finally after a while goes, hey, do you know when like this Tim Burton guy's going to come up because I'm supposed to meet him to talk about the role? And he's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm Tim Burton. because she wasn't expecting. She was like, I've worked on films. I expected a director to look a certain way and be older. And so they really just like vibed out before she even knew. And he was probably like in love with her. Of like, oh my God, you were my Lydia.
Yeah.
I think that's so cute though.
Just walks in and immediately starts talking about Edward Gorey. He's like, oh, I found her.
Yeah, you are it. Just with like her little like dyed hair and everything too.
Well, because I remember in Heathers, she gave that interview talking about how she just like looked like the character of Lydia at this point.
Yeah.
Like, that was how she dressed.
I love her. So yeah, she said after that conversation, she immediately liked him, immediately felt really comfortable, and like they had this kind of intimate relationship, bonding over kind of being outcast. Again, he was early 20s, young.
Right.
Yeah, so they were like closer in age
Yeah.
than we get with most young cast and then directors. We have Alec Baldwin as Adam. He fucking, unlike Michael Keaton, he fucking hates this role.
Really?
Yeah. He bitched about it. He bitches about it. He basically says that he was unhappy with his performance because he felt like everyone kind of had something to their character and that Adam kind of felt a little bland, but Tim Burton praises him actually for that because he's like, that's the point.
Yeah, being the straight man is hard.
So hard.
You know what's hard? Being a straight man.
Well, everyone else is having so much more fun. To be fair, we are. But yeah, so he's like gone on Rob Lowe's podcast talking about it. I think I have a quote from him.
Fascinating.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He said, quote, I want to say my lines like this. Oh, he was talking about what he wanted the character to be, and how basically Tim Burton, like he came into Tim Burton's office. Tim Burton's like doing little doodles and sketches, and he's like, I want my character to be like this. I don't relate to it. I don't get it. Whatever. And so this is what he's saying about that. He goes, quote, I want to say my lines like this and be very plumy and very Connecticut, like an antique collector. And I want to do something to play. And he said Tim Burton was looking down at his sketches, looks up, says, nope, we're not doing that. And the direction he gave me the whole fucking movie. He just liked, he killed my idea of doing a Bob Cummings impersonation. I remember,
that's a terrible idea.
I know. No is the correct answer.
Yeah.
And so he says, I remember walking through that movie and thinking, I got nothing. I was like a set piece, a prison sentence.
Oh my God.
So very dramatic.
Jesus Christ.
He also, that man loves a bitch.
Yeah, also, like, what do you think being, like, a female actor is, like, 99% of the time?
Also, like, you can still bring something. Don't just give up. But I do have to say, Adam being kind of clueless and just
perfect.
Like, it's so good.
Yeah. Well, and like I feel like you feel that he's a little bit frustrated all the time.
Yes, which is real frustration.
Incredible. Incredible.
Yeah, but Tim Burton loved him in this. So again, differences of opinion. I think he ate the role
He's
up.
perfect for it.
Yeah.
Also, the hottest Alec Baldwin has ever lived.
I was like, I don't have a note, but man, is he hot in this?
He's so hot in this.
What
happened?
Coke
What went wrong?
What went wrong?
He's so square now.
Do you want to know who was going to be Adam before Alec Baldwin? Bill Pullman. I know. He would have been so femmy and cute.
And I feel
sweet.
like he would have had no problem being the straight man.
No, he would have.
He's the ultimate Hollywood straight man.
God,
He's great at it.
He's so charming and
he's
adorable.
So, like, generous, like letting somebody else take the spotlight.
I love him so much. And honestly, although Alec Baldwin does eat at this role, I fully disagree with him that he didn't do a good job. Yeah. Bill Pullman would have been fantastic. Great. Yeah.
Would have been fantastic.
So sweet.
And I think would have appreciated it more.
Oh my God, he would have had the best time.
Yeah.
He would have
been grateful.
Yeah, he would have been grateful.
Not like I know him or really know anything about his personality, but I'm deciding.
He's one of the good ones in Hollywood. As good as you can get.
Good.
In men in Hollywood, I feel like.
As we know, not
he does
true of
theater,
Alec Baldwin. So.
You know? Yeah, not Alec Baldwin at all. Geena Davis as Barbara. She's such a cutie.
Have we talked about the fact that she's 6 feet tall?
Is she 6 feet tall? Man, I wish I was 6 feet tall.
So hot.
I love her.
So hot.
That makes sense. There's both so like lanky and ghostly in that it does make sense.
Yeah, it suits the character. Yeah.
God, I love her.
Anyway.
I can't say enough.
Just for all the lesbians out there, she's 6 feet tall.
Damn. Of course she fucking is. Her gay little haircut in this too.
I know.
Her like 80s mullet.
She is so queer coded as a person.
Absolutely.
I don't know if Geena Davis is queer, but like she just like has such a lesbian aura.
She gives us a little wink, I feel like.
Yeah.
So once again, she was not the original
choice.
Kirstie Alley. was actually, I know. Listen, that bitch was a lot of my childhood. I know she is problematic as hell. She wouldn't have been good at this, but she was a lot of my childhood, so I love her for that. But I could
not the right casting,
bonkers casting
not
choice.
The right casting.
Thankfully, the producers of Cheers wouldn't let her out of her contract to take the role.
Fantastic.
So thank you, appreciate you.
Thanks, Cheers.
We do have, speaking of queer coded, we have other actors considered. We have Sigourney Weaver, which I think
also 6 feet tall.
I know. That's what I was thinking. Her like hair, or moppy hair. We had Linda Blair, Goldie Hawn, Laura Dern, which I think would have been really sweet, and Linda Hamilton. So again, like we're seeing kind of.
Oh my god! Imagine if it was Linda Hamilton and Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh my god!
Jesus Christ!
I know someone needs to design a poster.
What the fuck?
Someone needs to design a poster with all these Bill Pullman, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Linda Blair. Or Linda Hamilton.
Oh my god.
God, that'd be amazing. So just a cute little kind of reminder of the scene with Beetlejuice eating the fly. We get the little callback to the fly. It's because, of course, she was in it. And apparently, Alec Baldwin was going to be Jeff Goldblum's character in it at some point. He auditioned and almost got the role.
So glad he didn't.
So glad.
Has to be Jeff Goldblum.
It had to be destined.
Yeah.
Destined. We have Jeffrey Jones as Charles Deetz. He's a creep. We're not going to talk about him.
Yeah.
But I will say the way they address him in Beetlejuice is very funny. Oh my god! Do you want a spoiler?
Yes, please.
Okay, everyone, if you haven't seen it, stop listening for a second.
Skip forward
give me 30
seconds.
Jinx. They have his character went off and on a sailing accident or fishing or something like that. He gets eaten by a shark. So the whole time he's just a torso running through the movie. So they don't
incredible.
Yeah. So he's just like he's a little halfy. So he dies
he deserves
in that way.
That. Yeah, appropriate.
Yeah. So we're not gonna talk about him. He's
unfortunately, I do think he does a really good job in this.
I know. Like he's actually has some of my favorite moments.
It's really
unfortunately
good casting.
It was.
Yeah.
I know.
Just a terrible human being.
I know. Yeah. His him with the birds when he whistles, or even when he's having the Chinese food with them, and just his reactions to the two of them fucking take me out.
Again,
but
good straight man. Good straight man performance. Not a good man, but
not a good man. Good straight
man performance.
Acting. Yeah. We have Catherine O'Hara as Delia Deetz. I don't know if you can get more. I mean, she has so many iconic roles. Again, as a Christopher Guest fan, she's lived. I always say, I feel like Delia walked so Moira could run.
It's so true.
There's no way.
They're so connected. There's so much DNA in common.
Does she go on interviews saying anything about being? Ooh. I haven't looked into Schitt's Creek, but
I mean, I've after rewatching this, I got into such a Catherine O'Hara hole that I just started watching a ton of interviews with her, and she does she'll bring them up in conversation together a lot, but I didn't find her mentioning them. Yeah.
God. Well, in my head canon, that's what happens.
Yeah, she does though. I found videos of her doing a couple of Beetlejuice line readings in the Moira voice, which was incredible.
Oh my god! Yeah. I'm gonna look at that after. Oh my god! Yeah. So most iconic performance of hers, in my opinion.
Yeah. Which is saying something.
Because boy, does she kill every fucking thing she's ever been in. Yeah. But man,
her in After Hours, incredible.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
So good.
Yeah, but she's just a scene stealer. She also was not the original Delia Deetz.
Oh, this couldn't be anybody but her.
I know. Do you want to take a guess at who it could have been? Very Tim Burton coded human being. Very gothic.
He didn't know Helena Bonham Carter at this point.
No. I don't know if they knew each other or not, but
I think she also, because she's younger than him, she probably was not an adult at this point.
Ooh.
Yeah, gross. Oh my god. Tim Burton coded individual.
I wonder if anyone else knows this.
I have no idea.
Angelica Houston.
Okay, I love that.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Which would have brought such a different energy.
Very
I think
much.
Definitely I love the kind of crazed artist performance we get.
Yeah.
And again, as we talk about the script in just a moment, we'll kind of see maybe why, but she had to drop out due to either illness of her own or a family illness. So again, it was like right up to the line.
Wow.
They were having a really hard time casting. They were having dropouts. They were having people that were like saying no multiple times. But yeah, so
I'm so glad they got Katherine. She's
too.
just
her iconic scream line of like, if you do not let me get out of this house and make it my own, I will go insane and I will take it with me. Improvised. Improv line.
Okay, I will say
I want it tattooed on my face.
Oh my god, it's
that
so
line.
Good. Current Catherine O'Hara is one of my biggest hear me outs.
Oh, current, past,
yeah,
middle, wherever she was.
So hot at any age.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I want to be here also when I'm older. Yes, like want to be with her, want to be her.
Yeah.
Which one?
All of the above.
Both. So cute little story. Again, this is where like I've kind of heard both, but I think this is the one that I've found the most backing on. So she technically never really auditioned for the role. So she was living in Toronto at the time. She flew to meet Tim Burton in California. I guess she was like had a rented car. She got her studios mixed up because there were two like Warner Brothers studios. And so she went to the wrong one. By the time she went to the correct studio, there was a note on Tim Burton's door that was like, I'm so sorry. I tried to wait. But she ended up getting the call back to get cast for it. I think because they were in the crunch time. But I feel so bad that she like drove, like drove, and then like missed it. And I'm sure she was like, I don't have it now.
Yeah.
I fucked this up.
Yeah, I lost it.
But no, she got the call like a week or two later that she was cast. So thank fuck. And she kind of jokes that it was a good thing ultimately that she didn't audition because she said she was really shit at auditions. I don't know if she still feels that way, but at the time she was like, I'm not good at this. So very cute little story. We have Glenn Shaddix, I think that's how you say his name, as Otho.
Oh, cool. Incredible.
Oh my god.
So funny.
I didn't realize he's also the voice of the mayor in Nightmare Before Christmas, which is my favorite character in Nightmare Before Christmas.
And of course he's the preacher in the I Love My Dead Gay Son scene in Heathers. Yes. Yeah.
So, again, other actors up for the role that you could see the type they were going for. John Candy.
Oh, yeah.
John Goodman. Bob Hoskins. Wayne Knight were all considered for, I'm hearing gasps from the corner, considered for the role of Otho. Ultimately, Glenn got it.
It's gotta be so gay, though.
I mean, he eats that role down.
Yeah.
His inflection, his eye rolls. He's
It's
so
so
smarmy.
camp.
Yeah, he's so camp in this that it's...
Like, John Goodman could not pull off that level of, like, queer camp.
Yeah.
I love John Goodman, but it wouldn't have been as
Yeah,
queer.
he's very, like, dude.
He's very dude.
Yeah, you're right, you're right. But yeah, he loved this role that even when he passed in September of 2010, the last song performed at his memorial service was Deo, the Banana Boat song, which I'm just like, I knew that fact prior, and I'm just like, shut up. I love when these actors have like such a love for this project that they were in, that they're like,
that's so sweet.
I know, it makes me sad. So R.I.P. And like I was talking about earlier, according to Tim Burton, it took a lot of time to convince cast to sign on to the film. Pretty much everyone said no at least once. And
let me guess, except Winona Ryder.
I mean, probably, yeah.
Knowing her.
Yeah, it was
just start stalking him.
Yeah, truly. She's like, this is my role.
Yeah.
It was the producers that kind of had to convince people. And again, kind of once Tim Burton was on board, I think tones changed a little bit. Yeah. And then, do you know the caseworker is Sylvia Sidney? She's an icon. He was said to have called her personally and begged her to play the part. So that was his one, like, I have to have you for this. Okay, moving on to studio. Like I said, it's Geffen Studio Productions. Their second film was Risky Business, which I didn't realize. This was, this was their sixth project. They'd only done 5 films before. And one of the ones right before this was Little Shop of Horrors, which I didn't realize tanked in the box office, which is such a bummer.
It's such a cult film.
Yeah. And so that's where the studio, like Warner Brothers was like, do we really want to do this other like comedy horror when this one didn't do well?
Very similar tones in a lot of ways.
I love Little Shop of Horrors.
Adore Little Shop.
We have to do that one too.
do.
We do that in Repo the Genetic Opera
I
musical.
was just talking about Repo the Genetic Opera last night.
Oh my god, I was talking about it 2 nights ago, actually. That's
It's
weird.
destined
We have
to
to do
be.
it.
Okay,
Oh my
yeah.
god, those will be fun.
Oh, love.
Because I love both those films.
Yeah.
Okay, we're finally to the point. Take the pen out of the script.
Oh my god,
we
I've
are
been
here.
dying.
I'm
Yeah.
so sorry. I should have laid out my notes differently. But here we are. It's my birthday. I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want, which is not great. Don't let me do this again, guys. Fuck. Okay, so the idea of the movie came to screenwriter Michael McDowell, like we talked about earlier, after watching 1982's Poltergeist. And he had the idea of bad ghosts being flipped, and it was the people who moved into the house that were bad and the ghosts that were good. So I kind of love that as a concept. I really need to revisit Poltergeist. It's arguably not one of my favorite films that I've seen.
I have not seen it.
Oh my gosh.
I haven't seen it.
We should do that in Midsummer of like, I guess I've seen Midsummer, but
of like why each of us hates these movies. Nothing in common besides that we both
don't like
loathe them.
I'll give it another go. I'll get no one at me. Okay, damn. Quiet down out there. I can hear you. So Michael McDowell and Larry Wilson, who we talked about, has producer credit, and then kind of got kicked off the project. Right. They had formed a partnership called Pecos Productions. So it was Larry's originally. Michael kind of came into play. And they had this with entertainment attorney Michael Bender. Okay. And so Beetlejuice was their first project as Pecos, to give you kind of some concept of just like everything kind of came together perfectly for this. So after developing the story, Michael and Larry decided they would write the first draft together. And then they kind of already had decided that Larry'd be producer and Michael would take that. And it kind of worked out in the end. So, the script also came to Geffen originally because Michael had some friend that worked there, and she kind of bullied Geffen to read the script. It was like, you have to do this project. So that's kind of how we get it on the desks. So Tim Burton had gotten to work with Michael before, and this was like years prior. They had worked on, it was called The Jar. It was an episode of Alfred Hitchcock's Presents.
Oh, hell
so
yeah.
They worked together on that. Again,
that's so cute.
That's not kind of why. It's just everything kind of fell into place later. So it's not like he had worked with him before and was like, let's work on this project together. The
fates just aligned.
They just aligned. You can watch that episode on YouTube. I have not watched it yet, but I'm very curious to see like
good little follow-up.
Yeah, which also, side note, I've been rewatching Tales from the Crypt. Everyone it's like every actor's like first directorial debut. Wow. There's so many fucking stars in it. There's, just really amazing episodes. So I think in line with that, everyone needs to go revisit Tales from the Crypt. I have some episodes I want to talk to you about after this. Cool. So at this time too, when the script ended up on Geffen's desk, they decided they were going to take the project on. It was the same time Tim Burton, so coming off of Pee-wee, he was just really fucking sick of every fucking script that came across his desk. It was just boring and bland. He said that the story structures sucked. There was no intrigue.
I'm imagining he was probably getting a lot of like children's movies.
I wonder
at this point.
Yeah,
coming off of Pee-wee,
or just like he ends up doing Batman after this. I'm curious of like if he got. I don't know. Yeah, I'm curious of what came across and like what was the ratio of like more kids stuff.
Yeah, what was he getting typecast as?
Yeah, basically. Especially with animation and stuff too. I'm really curious of what that looked like. So yeah, he talks about being kind of sick of everything until he sees Beetlejuice. So I got a quote from him saying, "Hollywood kept hammering me with the concept of story structure where the third act doesn't work and it's going to end with a little comedy or a little romance. The script for Beetlejuice was completely anti all that. It had no real story. It didn't make any sense, and it was more like a stream of consciousness." Right. The script was probably the most amorphous ever. It changed a lot, but the writer Michael McDowell had a good, perverse sense of humor and darkness, which we know is very Tim Burton. That was a good thing about it. It had this kind of abstract imagery that I like, with these strange characters and images floating in and out. So again, thank fuck this landed and people bullied and it got to him. So rewrites. Like he said, this script was not like the movie we see at all. It was not a comedy. It was just really fucked up, which I love. there's also, apparently there were 2 daughters, and they combined the 2 daughters into Lydia as one character. I think she actually, like, burns to death at some point and dies, and so she goes into the afterlife. Adam and Barbara's car crash scene was really fucking graphic. She, I think, gets her arm like stuck in the car door, and it kind of like breaks and almost rips off. So we kind of get a nod to that when she walks into the house for the first time in the film, and she talks about how her arm is frozen. It's kind of a little nod to like how awful, because she was gonna like come in with like broken bones and shit.
Whoa.
They were gonna be gross, which I love. And then instead of possessing the Deetzes and forcing them to dance during the dinner scene, there was kind of this vine that came to life and kind of attacked all of them. And then Beetlejuice himself in the first draft was a winged demon who took the form of a little short man with the intent on killing the Deetzes rather than scaring them. So that was going to be his thing. And then, of course, he wanted to, I wrote boink. Of course, he wanted to boink Lydia and not just marry her to get freedom. Listen.
Yeah, very disturbing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then we also, when he was exhumed from his grave in the original script, you know how you have to call his name, you can send him back, and kind of like he's kind of controlled to a point. Once you took him out of the grave, good fucking luck. He just was let loose.
Weirdly, that's how I remembered it being from the last time that I'd watched it. I remembered it as once he's set loose, all hell breaks loose.
Yeah.
Interesting.
To a point, it
kind of
does.
does.
Yeah. It still kind of feels that way, because even when he's like his little tiny version,
he's still wreaking havoc.
What else do we have? Oh, apparently too, Beetlejuice was originally supposed to be Middle Eastern. And a lot of his dialogue was written in AAVE.
Oh no.
Yeah. So
real glad that got changed.
Yeah. Which is like, can you imagine if Sammy Davis Jr. and then that? Yikes. And then Tim Burton, this like young white male director, is
who's
like
famous for having like only white characters in his movies.
Yeah,
like, infamous.
Yeah, the good criticism he needs to hear is that
truly.
Can we have some people of goddamn color in these fucking films?
Yeah.
So yeah, and then speaking of dialogue, about 90% to potentially 100% of Michael Keaton's dialogue was him. He just came in on set like a little fucking tornado. So all of his iconic lines, even like the taglines that we pull from, is
the ghost with the most.
Yeah, it's just him. It is just him.
God, I love
just
that.
trying to make the cast and crew laugh.
That's how you can tell that it was the right cast.
Yeah,
it's like
I wonder.
Beetlejuice flows through this.
Right.
Like,
he was possessed.
Yeah,
but I'm just like, I wonder if any remnants of that lived in the script.
I'm so.
I heard
curious.
it didn't, but I'm like, did Michael Keaton look at the dialogue and was
at
like,
all?
I'm good. Yeah, this is bad.
It's just like, okay, toss
this is trash.
Yeah,
gonna burn this.
Which, like, again, if what it was just like AAVE, like, glad that he tossed it out the window.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm thinking that got kind of exercised from the script by that point, but who knows? So,
is this the point to ask to take
oh my
a pin
gosh.
out?
Yes. Take a pin out of the director. Thank you. I knew I was going to forget.
Fantastic.
So again, thinking
like this is about the right moment.
Yeah. Super dark, super fucked up. Like, it was definitely horror. Like horror at the time.
Did they want it to be Tobe Hooper?
No, that's a good guess, though.
Given that it was like originally based on Poltergeist. Am I in the right
They
family?
did not. Yeah, you're in the right family, though. Definitely classic horror director. I'm like looking around.
Oh.
I feel like you're almost. Warren's got a hand raised.
Oh.
Craven?
Yes! Wes Craven.
Oh, I could so see that, actually. I could really, because he's got the sense of humor.
Yeah.
He's got the dark humor.
I think it would have, again, if they went the darker tone, good guess, by the way. If they went the darker tone, that's who was signed on board. So the script didn't even change until Tim Burton came on board. Wow. And he was like, I got to do something with
That's
this.
so funny. Well, because, like, again, both him and Craven have dark senses of humor, but Craven's is much more fucked up than Tim Burton's.
Oh, yeah,
like, it's much more caustic and, like, aggressive.
Yeah. And the studio, that's what the studio was afraid of, is being a little too dark.
Too much? Yeah, that's...
And they were trying to make something sellable.
It certainly would have been much more dark.
I also think coming off of like Pee-wee's Big Adventure, I wonder if the studio was like, okay, if we have this new director signed on now, they're going to come off of this to want to, like, we have to make sure that the audience can see this. I think it's also one of the few, like, is this a PG? It's a PG rating. One of the few PG films with fuck in it.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I could see that because it's very like, I remember I first watched it when I was like maybe 11 years old.
Oh, yeah,
it didn't feel like inappropriate to me at the time, although
thinking back on it now, I'm like, it was a little
it
inappropriate.
was. I also like definitely did not get it. Like I remembered seeing certain things and thinking it looked cool.
Mhm.
And I remember finding the overall vibe to be like an enjoyable ride.
Yeah.
But rewatching it as an adult, I was like, oh, this is a masterpiece in a way that like as a kid I could not appreciate.
Yeah, because it is very like, it goes on to have its animated series after. And I think that's what introduced a lot of kids because it's a lot lighter of a show. I think it introduced a lot of kids. Oh my God, I love it. It's so good. It's so funny. But I think it introduced kids, and then when they were a little older, they would watch the film. But yeah, I can't imagine I got half the references as a child.
Not at all.
And you said it's been a while since you watched it?
I don't think I'd seen it since watching it for the first time at like 11 years old or so. Maybe I saw it one more time in like high school.
Yeah. But
not
just didn't register.
Not since I was like at the oldest a teenager.
Fun.
And seeing it again now, especially like now that I've like gotten into miniatures,
yeah,
I was just like drooling.
The miniatures are so good.
It's so and it's such a like love letter to miniatures too. Like that the miniatures are a character. Like
put a pin in. Well, we don't talk too much about miniatures, but yeah.
Great.
That's really good. We talked about it a little bit. Budget. I said it.
They felt like it was low. They felt
like it was
low. Like it was low.
I don't feel like it was low. But we're going to talk more about where the budget was allocated in a minute.
I'm going to guess 15.
Oh my God. Ding, ding, ding. Right on the money.
Yay!
15. Yeah. So put a pin in how much was allocated towards special effects.
Okay.
Though. But yeah, 15.
The reason I
feels right.
got there is because I was thinking about The Crow, which I'd researched, and like the closest point of comparison I could find for The Crow was Tim Burton's Batman, which is like not much longer after that. Batman was about 45 million.
Oh my gosh, wow.
And The Crow was 15. And they were talking on The Crow about feeling like it was a really, really tiny budget.
Yeah.
And it was only putting it next to Batman that helped me understand how small it felt to them. And so I was like, I could see this being about the same level as that because they're both movies that relied really heavily on miniatures.
Yeah. I guess like Batman feels big, but Beetlejuice feels big.
It feels huge, yeah. Well, and The Crow feels big, too. And, like, Beetlejuice and The Crow feel about as big as each other.
That's so funny. Yeah. That's a good comparison. Yeah. Because they do feel very similar in that way. And good use of their money, to be fair.
Big time. Yeah, again, put it into miniatures.
Yeah, right? Location and production. So they shot Beetlejuice over the course of 4 months.
Wow.
Did it from March 11th, right? From March 11th to June 11th of 87. Michael Keaton only was on set for 2 weeks during that time.
I mean, yeah, there's very little Beetlejuice in the movie.
He doesn't make an appearance till 20 minutes in, and apparently, and I did double check this because what was it? Arachnophobia. When I was like, what's his name? Jeff Daniels wasn't on there for like 17 minutes. Michael Keaton was on screen for like 17 minutes. I confirmed it. I looked at multiple sources this time, guys. I swear.
We know.
Which is so funny because, again, he like came on, and we'll talk about more about the Beetlejuice character, but the fact that he came on for 2 weeks of this 4-month shoot.
And just like rewrote the whole character.
It was incredible. That is his character. So, while the setting of the fictional village of Winter River, Connecticut, it's actually in East Corneth, a small village in Vermont. So production designer Bo Welch, which we'll talk about later, he recalls how they drove aimlessly through because he was like, we didn't have MapQuest, we didn't have Google Maps, we didn't have anything. So they kind of just like drove around. And he said, quote, eventually we were into a couple of bookstores or gas stations, and we kept seeing this postcard over and over of this little town called East Corneth, Vermont. We saw it enough times that we thought, well, that one looks great. So they went to visit it, and the town already had the small little creek which runs through the town. They dammed up that river so that when they do the car crash, they could, but I guess like a storm came through and like blew everything away. The post office was there, like the little nice building with the bad roof is visible from the field. So a bunch of stuff was kind of already there. They built that little bridge building over it. What do you call it? Cover?
Oh, yeah, I
Bridge
don't
cover?
know. Yeah.
So they built that, but all the things kind of existed, and I'm just like, oh my God, I want to go visit this town so bad. Were you
It's
gonna
really
say
picturesque.
Were you gonna say something?
I was gonna say something about Bo Welch, but I'll hold it until we get there. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I'm
Get that time out
big,
of here. I'm
big
gonna talk a
fan.
while.
It's Beetlejuice. It's the birthday Al-stravaganza.
I have lots to say. We're probably halfway. This is gonna be my longest,
Yes,
and I'm so sorry.
I'm so down. It's this is the movie for it. Truly,
it was. For as much as I couldn't find, there's still so much to talk about.
I can only imagine.
So, what they didn't have, they brought in art director Tom Duffield to build. He said that he built all the sets in LA prior at the Culver Studios in California. And then he flew to Vermont to oversee the construction there, saying, I oversaw the construction of the house, the redo of the town, the construction of the covered bridge. Covered bridge, that's what it's called. Tim picked it. We could find a town that had a covered bridge that looked New England style. But the way we found it, as I recall, Tim found it on a laminated placemat in a restaurant store. That's where one of the places they found it.
Wow.
And he goes, this town right here. And he said they still have a lot of the stuff left over in the town. I'm hoping,
so cool.
I think this was a retrospective. I don't remember what year though. So I'm hoping some of those things are still there.
I feel like it's such a beloved movie that they probably would have tried.
Also, if it's a tiny little village, they're like, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
Nothing's happening here.
Yeah.
That's good.
What are we famous for? Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice now.
Yeah.
So, like I said, they had some weather that kind of blew in and that wiped out some of the things that they built. It blew down the dam again. And then they had trouble with the house on the hill. Apparently it was just a hill, no road. So they had to carve everything out to get all the materials up there and to build it.
What a nightmare.
Yeah. So that's probably a lot of time that they spent doing that.
And a good chunk of budget. Too.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. To build a bunch of shit like on location.
That's really costly.
So we have production design. Tim Burton really wanted to hire Anton first. So he worked on 1984's The Company of Wolves, 1987's Full Metal Jacket. But Anton was already working on a film in 88 called High Spirits, a choice that he later said he regretted. He was not a fan of that and I think felt like
I mean, especially as a
FOMO.
Production designer, how do you not look back at Beetlejuice and go,
I'd be like, how can I get out of this contract?
Yeah.
How can I get out? So that's when we move on to hire Bo Welch, who goes on to be a future collaborator on Edward Scissorhands and Batman Returns. And I bet you're going to say the thing I'm thinking of.
Series of Unfortunate Events?
No.
That's, I had to look
I
up.
just rewatched that.
Yeah. Bo Welch, production designer.
No way.
The series, the Netflix series.
I gotta watch the series.
It's so good. Like, I have a fondness in my heart for the Jim Carrey one because it's the first movie I remember seeing in a theater. But, and because, like, I loved the books, but the Netflix adaptation of Series of Unfortunate Events, screenplays are written by Daniel Handler, who's Lemony Snicket. So it's like very true to the book and has like that feel. And Bo Welch does the production design, and it is all of your gothic dreams come true.
I just finished Wednesday the series, so I might have to dive into that.
Very
as like
similar energy. And did you know that he and Catherine O'Hara are married?
They met on this set. And to think it could have been Anton first and Angelica Houston. And then it was these two.
Meant to be.
I know. It's the cutest thing.
So cute.
And it was Tim Burton, actually, that had to convince Bo to ask her out. Because he was like, I don't want to be weird. Because that's like a star. He didn't even think he was allowed to speak to her.
Oh, my God.
But she had a crush on it. So Tim Burton's like, just fucking... That's also because he's like young, in his 20s. He's like, just go fucking talk to her.
Adorable.
So we owe him for that cute little relationship. And I'm like, oh, their lives like changed in so many ways. They're still married and everything today.
I love that.
I know.
Is that the thing that you thought I was going to say? Yeah. It's so cute.
I didn't know the Lemony Snicket. I have to watch that.
You will really enjoy it.
This man's brain I love so much. So
you can really tell it's the same production designer as Beetlejuice.
He also did the Birdcage.
Oh my God.
Ghostbusters 2. I think prior to this,
Acador Spartacus.
This was his fifth film. He'd done The Lost Boys prior to this. So I'm like, he was already like
what a career.
Doing his thing. Yeah. So he said to the look of Beetlejuice, Tim Burton had said he didn't really have to think hard about it. It's just something that kind of Tim Burton said this. It kind of came naturally to him. So the direction he kind of gave Bo. So Tim Burton said, quote, I would do a few sketches and we'd look at things. You start out with the concept and then build upon that. I always had my own ideas about the way it should be. If there was darkness, there should be color and light. Beetlejuice was a real mix of color and dark to me. I wanted to temper a lot of the dark aspects to make it look a little bit more colorful. I'm sorry, that was Bo Welch that said that. He kind of talks about the unique visual style of the film, saying that when he met Tim, he was like a breath of fresh air for him. And it felt very liberating for him to kind of step into this world. They also talk about German expressionism films. It was Cabinet of Dr. Calgary. Jesus Christ. Everyone shut up. I gotta drink my coffee. Caligari, Jesus Christ. That inspired them. And so he had Bo look at every frame
especially
of that and was like, just go through and look at that. This is what I want. Which, like, man, we gotta cover some
silent horror, some German expressionism.
We really do.
Love
because man, frames.
I have a cabinet of Dr. Caligari pillows on my couch at home.
Oh my god, of course you do. Yeah. That makes so much sense. Yeah. It was one of my mom's like favorite films. So
it's so good.
So good.
Yeah.
So they kind of bonded over that. Bo was just happy again. Poor Anton missing out just to be able to kind of express these things with an auteur. And so he also said he looked at a lot of Tim Burton's character sketches for inspiration, saying he was, quote, give me 1 second.
Got a caffeine.
Cut that. Designing sets that would complement Tim's aesthetic and complement his characters, all of which he had designed and drawn at the time he started. Of course he fucking did.
Of course.
You could look at beautiful little drawings of Beetlejuice and Lydia, and everybody in the movie had basically been drawn. Wow. And you say, as a designer, what would be the best environment to surround them in at any specific point of the story?
That's delightful.
I know, that's so fun. So you look at these creature designs too, like he was a fan of the worm and said all that stuff is very valuable tool for inspiration. They're mind-blowing inspirations for completing the movie. So again, walking in, there'd already been so much pre-pro happening, and just to get all this material, I don't know. I'm sure some people would find that like, oh, I don't get to do my take on it, but to be able to come in and go, what's my part of this story and how do I kind of match this energy? There's my part about Catherine O'Hara. So special effects. This is where we can take the pin out of the budget.
Yes.
So 15 mil budget. How much do you think they allocated for special effects? For a very special effects heavy movie.
It would have to be a giant chunk. Like I want to say like at least 5 mil would have to be special effects.
No. $1 million is all they wanted to give them for this.
That's insane.
Yeah. The studio did not want to give them money for special effects.
Okay, so I wonder why there's so many miniatures, but like...
Yeah, and stop motion. So basically Tim Burton's solution to this was like, okay, I'm going to go back to my roots, which were very long ago.
Yeah.
And kind of give a nod to B horror and make it look kind of shitty.
Yeah. That's
because I don't have the budget, so that's just what I'm doing. But it doesn't look shitty, and that's what I think is so funny.
I think as horror fans, we love stuff that looks a little bit handmade.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
Like there's something about that that's satisfying and comforting.
Yeah. Even now, like we're slowly seeing people kind of go back to practical, but yeah, there's something about it that it like, at the very least, it feels real because it is real. It's tangible. They're reacting to something. So yeah, wanted to go back to just B horror, make it look shitty on purpose, doing stop motion, replacement animation, prosthetic makeup, puppetry, kind of all the things that they could do. There was no CGI at the time, so they really had to do all these kind of magic tricks on set. And so who did he hire to kind of take on a project like this? Yeah. He hired, most of the effects were by Bob Short or Robert Short.
Okay.
He's a creature and makeup effects designer. He has done like a billion fucking things. Do I get into, oh my God, what he's been on? Did I like totally skip over him? I might have. Anyways, you can look him up.
Great.
We're gonna,
put a pin in Bob Shore.
put a pin in it. Do I even go back to him? My God. I jump right into special effects makeup. Venial. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, so, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, so she also worked on The Lost Boys. She was also on Pee-wee's Playhouse, the show. Edward Scissorhands, Hook, Batman Returns, Pirates of the Caribbean films, and so many other things. Wow. She's a fucking icon.
I wonder if she also worked on Elvira. Because I'm like, I feel like we mentioned her.
Ooh, she might have.
And because of the Pee-wee's connection.
Yeah, Tobe, can you look that up? Yeah, she absolutely might have.
Yeah, I don't know. Throwing it out there.
Yeah, she seems so fucking cool. Again, the project that she's worked on. I think Bob Short also, like, he's worked on so many things. I can't believe I didn't write it down. I'm like, everyone will know. So she, again, talked about how the initial concepts looked a bit different for Beetlejuice initially, and the afterlife as a whole. They really wanted pastels, which, again, like, we see in, like, Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah.
But she said by the time they came to, like, lighting pastels, that things just didn't hit. So, yeah, they had to scrap that idea. She said, quote, "We had to pump up all the colors visually because everything else was so colorful. And we decided at that point we would take it from pastel to a little bit more vibrant so that everything read on camera, especially in low light."
That makes sense. Because they're using so many gels. Like, every single light in this movie has a color
everywhere.
gel.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Yeah. So, she says, "I think that really kind of set the tone for the film. Tim really wanted it to be dark and quirky," to which I myself say, "I'm dark and quirky." That was my joke that I wrote to myself. I thought that was good. Thank you.
It's been a nice podcast,
Thank
y'all.
you. We have probably 45 more minutes to sit through. So that's your, you can take a break, go get a coffee, take a walk around the block.
Toss your phone down on the bed in anger.
That joke is copyrighted, so no one's allowed to take it. So we have Bob Short and his team that were credited for the special effects, and then we have V on makeup. And I think it was kind of funny but worth noting. We see everyone who has died of a cause. That's what their makeup are. Adam and Barbara are not wet for the entire film, mainly because they just realized it'd be too hard for them to go throughout.
Yeah, that's fair.
The whole film being wet. So if anyone's wondering.
Will say, one of the things that I appreciated this time that I did not pick up on last time I watched because I hadn't seen it at that point was that the way they die is very much a Carnival of Souls reference, which I've talked about. And a Carnival of Souls, because that also starts with a car crash off a bridge and the character like coming out of it seemingly fine, but like dead. Sorry, I just spoiled Carnival of Souls. We already talked about it on a different episode. We will cover it sometime, but like because of that, I just took it as like a Carnival of Souls homage of like, because she's not wet either.
Yeah, because they don't. That's so funny because they don't really give a reason, but I think that's a perfect reason for them to.
There you go. There's your excuse.
Yeah,
Tim
there
Burton.
you guys go. Some little tricks and treats. So due again to the small budget, a lot of the effects were in camera. And there was some, so we get the dance scene, which apparently was really hard for them to get through. They were all laughing so much.
Yeah.
That they could barely do it.
Especially like trying to do a dance sequence like that in a way where it looks like you don't want to be doing it, but your body's being moved.
Why they thought it was so funny.
Yeah, I'm sure.
They were like, wait, I don't, what the fuck? So it was so hard for them to choreograph. And then we get obviously the iconic little shrimp cocktail jumping out, which.
One of the biggest jump scares in cinema history for me. That got me so bad.
This time or when you were a kid?
When I was a kid.
Okay.
Yeah, this time I was delighted by it because I knew it was coming.
The little screams that are associated. Ugh. So they had a hard time with that. And I guess Dick Cavett, who played Bernard in it, he kind of suggested to have them film it backwards of the shrimp jumping out because they didn't have puppet. They have hands under there now. It's like some like little, not some performers, but puppeteers under there. But at some point they had like played around with it and were just really struggling with that. And Tim Burton actually took his advice. They did shoot it in reverse, but then they ended up going with the puppets, which I think. It is easier.
Great, yeah.
So we have that. We have when Adam and Barbara look in the mirror and can't see the reflection. It's obviously just another set built mirrored on the other side. The iconic snake scene. It's a mix of stop motion and they had an animatronic head, which is really terrifying to see. That motherfucker gave me nightmares.
It's real creepy.
Forever. So they had that built before they had cast Michael Keaton.
How?
And it didn't look like him at first.
Okay.
And thankfully, again, the producers came in and were like, we have to rebuild this.
It has to look like Michael Keaton.
They never fucking want to spend more money on shit.
That's so
But they were like,
funny.
we have to make it look like him.
Absolutely does. That's part of why it's so scary. Is it's like, yeah, that's exactly what Michael Keaton as a Bannister snake would look like.
Yeah, so thank David Geffen again for making that choice to have them go back. So at one point, though, wildly different.
Wow.
So Beetlejuice. Yes. We are here. We're with him. So how did we get the iconic design? Like I said, we had Neal working on it, but it was really Michael Keaton that came in. This is just him, and it's so funny because this film was never hinged on Beetlejuice, but Michael Keaton really was the person that came in. So not only did he say 90% of his own lines, he kind of developed the character's look all himself. So he was the one that wanted the moss on his face.
The moss is so good.
It's so good. Real moss. And then with the oil-based paint, apparently he had a mixture of like some sort of glue and like sawdust is how he got he wanted his hair to look like he stuck his finger in an electrical socket. So they had a mix of that. He said by the end of the 2 weeks, he basically looked atrocious.
Incredible.
Because his skin was just reacting so poorly to all these things.
Oh,
but it was his idea. He would sit in like 4 hours of makeup and then like 2 hours at the end of the day to get things off. But it was all his design. That's what he wanted. So he worked with V. V like basically ran out and would like get these materials to come back and make this character. So she kind of talks about when testing makeup, they, were trying to find the right aesthetic fit and what would look good on camera with everything. And she would just take Michael Keaton back to her trailer and just like test things, and they would like figure things out together, which I loved. She said she wanted him to look like he crawled out from underneath a rock. She sent like a driver off to the hobby store and to get the moss and things like that to put on him. So they just really like played around a lot until honestly Michael Keaton felt good about the character. And I love that Tim Burton just like listened, especially for someone who's so
particular, has
so
such
particular,
a specific vision,
and is like, this is what I'm doing, and you can't veer from this. So, they nailed it. Apparently, the day he showed up on set, the crew started chanting "juice, juice, juice, juice" because they were so excited.
That's so cute.
I mean, a tornado.
It does make me understand a little bit more of why Alec Baldwin was so angry. If he's like, so you're giving him all this free reign, and I can't do anything.
Sorry, somebody has good ideas.
Yeah. Sorry, somebody's Michael
idea.
Fucking Keaton. I don't know.
It's
maybe try being Michael Keaton.
I was gonna say Michael Keaton. Like everyone on this is a weirdo. Alec Baldwin is a normie.
Yeah.
So it makes so much sense.
It really does.
Like you wanted to go like, it's like no, you don't get it.
Yeah, no.
It's actually good that you
terrible.
So how do we like capture all of these things? So we have cinematographer Tom Ackerman. He had previously worked at Disney on projects before, so they kind of like crossed paths. And him and Tim Burton kind of knew each other. So when it was time for this to come around, he actually had worked on Pee-wee's Big Adventure with Tim Burton. He called him back for that, called him back for this. And so he kind of talks about I think it was when Pee-wee, I think he felt like he didn't have enough experience. And so he felt very honored that Tim Burton kind of thought of him for these projects. He worked on the live action Frankenweenie with him, and it was like super stoked to be on this film. He says, quote, "When you do any film with Tim Burton, he has a very clear vision, like we just said, a really vivid sense of how he wants things to look. That was certainly the case with Frankenweenie. The storyboards, which he had meticulously drawn, many of by him, if not all by him, conveyed a great, almost palpable sense of what he was going for. Did they dictate continuity? No, they didn't. But they were stylistically vivid and extremely helpful." So I love that he's like, I'm here to help with that part, but the visuals. He said that they had a lot of fun kind of talking about the look of this. He was to create what Tim Burton kind of called like a Norman Rockwell-esque New England world with the twist on it, with the Deetz family move into the home with the furniture and how they kind of tear down this New England charm. When he came on board too, again, everyone kind of came in last minute. They had already had 20 weeks of prep. So they had lots of things figured out by the time that he came on board, which he actually said was really nice that he would kind of just jump in and knew what he was doing. And so he said, there's two Toms in this. So the art director, production designer, and then Bo, they kind of all talked about collaborating together on this in this retrospective that I read. Cool. And so Bo said, quote, "Conceptually, I think we arrived at, it was kind of going to be like the Department of Motor Vehicles or some other dreary government office." So talking about the afterlife and unemployment office. What inspired the afterlife of where he goes, again, German expressionism, but also we have the Frank Lloyd Wright Johnson Wax Building in Oklahoma is where they got the actual visuals for the little afterlife.
That's so cool.
DMV, so you can see a lot of the pillars. So they constructed those pillars, and then they had an artist paint the backdrop, so it kind of looked like it went on forever, because the set was only 70 wide by 50 deep.
That's tiny.
Super tiny. So they had to paint, which I honestly think is so seamless. It actually kind of like blows my mind.
Yeah.
Looking that this doesn't just go around forever.
That's incredible.
But I love kind of like the real world use of Frank Lloyd Wright.
I love that.
Moving on, I know oh my God, I'm like, how much more do I have to talk to you guys about?
I'm having such a good time.
I know,
Take
I'm like,
your time.
I'm
this
trying
is great.
to, sorry
it's all
guys.
such good stuff. Like,
it's so good. What's my time, Trav?
110.
110. Oh, 110. We're doing great, guys.
We've got plenty of time.
So, costume design. Again, it was really hard to find.
I remember you saying that you'd read a costume designer interview that turned out to be for Beetlejuice.
Yeah, y'all Googling Beetlejuice, even putting the year in. Yeah, I read a whole freaking article, wrote down quotes, and I was like, wait a second.
No.
That's not her name. So the costume designer for Beetlejuice is different than the costume designer for the original. We have Aggie Rogers is the costume designer. She did Rent, American Graffiti, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Mr. Holland's Opus, and so many, true icon. I didn't realize too, and maybe it's just like obvious, just his little iconic stripes being his little prison uniform from the Afterlife. And then Beetlejuice and Lydia's forced wedding when she has that red dress.
So good.
There's an old rhyme about wedding dress colors that said, "Married in red, better off dead."
Oh, well, I was thinking about, I know in, what was it, medieval times, red wedding dresses were lucky.
Oh.
It like used to be a very popular thing.
Was it lucky? Or did they want to be dead?
Half a dozen of one, 6 of another, you know?
That's so funny.
Yeah.
And when did we get away from color?
Truly.
My God.
Truly.
Medieval times, people always think are so bland. I'm like, they were so fucking colorful.
Yeah.
I don't think we understand.
We've got to go back.
Bring it back. Wedding dresses.
And speaking of going back to medieval times, little sneak peek of next episode, but yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. So music. Well, I am going to try and cut down. So music, obviously, the Danny Elfman.
Incredible.
God,
the one,
what
the
a
only.
kooky dude. So they've worked on 17 films together.
Wow.
They met in 1985 when he asked Danny to compose Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Because he was a big fan of Oingo Boingo. I've been lucky enough to see him live twice for Nightmare Before Christmas. He's just a presence, man.
I'm sure.
And then we had his daughter come for her film at the Jean Cocteau. And I was so fucking starstruck. I want to be like, do you know who your dad is? Because I do, and I'm a fan.
Idea? Do you have a concept?
Do you think he's cool? I think he's cool. So he was a big fan, Oingo Boingo. Tim Burton said that it was actually like... Initially, like, so not speaking of score, but speaking of music, they had a hard time kind of finding that calypso music that we end up getting. It was Catherine O'Hara that actually suggested putting that in. So that's kind of how we get that music.
Her so much.
I
what
mean,
a genius.
Yeah. Apparently, screenwriter Warren Scarron wanted to put what he calls like big, chill, yuppie Motown music in it instead. And yeah, they wanted kind of this weird play. I guess, oh my God, who was it? Who's the music by? Why am I totally... Belafonte.
Oh, yeah.
I guess after the movie, so they had a hard time finding like rights for certain songs, whatever. Belafonte's music was cheaper for them to get both. After the film came out, I guess he was like horrified and was like, "You're making fun of this music, whatever. Tim Burton had to like either call him up or like flew to him and was like, no. I want people to appreciate we're actually honoring your music. And he finally was like, okay, I guess you're like
poor
introducing
Harry.
me.
Because like I love Harry Belafonte, his career, his acting work. He's
a big
icon.
Activist too.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah.
It's so sad to hear that, especially because like so many people were introduced to his music through this movie.
Yeah, it's a bop. But yeah, he was a little bit horrified at first. But I'm glad Tim Burton was like, no. I promise you. And so he got a bunch of new fans from it, obviously. To the score, Danny Elfman actually said that they were kind of lucky that the studio wasn't paying too much attention to this film. So that's kind of how they got away with a lot of bonkers stuff and the bonkers score that we hear. Because I think everyone thinks it should be traditional. But they kind of said it was like letting two little kids play together in a room and like the adults weren't watching.
I was very comforted watching this because like I've been like getting in my head too much about like have I got too much soundtrack in my movie, and watching this it was like
No.
no.
I love, that's the thing, like I love absence of score, but I
Mhm.
also really love, I mean, I go back to this, I'm a big soundtrack listener.
Mhm.
I find comfort in kind of seeing things play out in my
Yeah.
head and
Yeah.
emote things.
Mhm.
And man, this is one that I reach
It's
back
so
to
good.
all
And
the
it
time.
really feels like the score is like ever present. Like
Oh, yeah.
Elfman is always just around the corner waiting to comment.
Yeah,
Like yeah.
So yeah, because he could, they could play. He said that it was a deceptively hard score to play,
Interesting.
and that he didn't really realize it, but the like the do 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 do, because the brass section had to play on off notes, and it could get really muddled really easily. So he was like, I really wanted it to be super like staccato and like
Precise,
on,
yeah.
precise. And so he said it was really hard. They originally went to go record it in England, and he was there. They had an English conductor, and the English conductor looked at the score, picked it up, threw it on the ground, and said, "This shit's unplayable," and like left. To which Danny Elfman was like super fucking delighted
Oh
about.
my god, I love
and
that.
he's like,
Of course
"Yay!"
he was. Yeah.
He was like, "I love that you don't like
put
this.
me in, coach.
Yeah, tag me in." So that was kind of their
That's
little
so
experience
cute.
doing this, is they just got to play, and it sounds like that.
It really does.
The whole film. So audience reaction. There was amazing feedback immediately when they played it with test audiences. The only thing they kind of changed, which was the ending, they kind of brought Beetlejuice back for the witch doctor scene, because they felt like it needed to end on kind of like this fun note.
Yeah.
Art director Tom Ackerman remembers seeing Beetlejuice for the first time at the premiere and saying how it was simply breathtaking. All of us who had taken part felt really proud and feel accomplished. That being said, and this holds true with every movie I ever shot, premiere party, whatever or not, once we were off the red carpet, I'd like to go to an ordinary theater with real people who've paid money for their ticket. That's the biggest payoff I've ever had. Feeling that vibe, sitting with the people in the dark, most of whom are being transported to another time and place. It's wonderful to experience, and frankly, I think it's one of the greatest awards we've had. Bo Welch also talks about it and talks about seeing it for the first time, saying it was fantastic because you get to see it work. Up to then, it was just fun, and the process was great. We were having fun, and everyone's having a good time. We're on individual levels. The sets work, the costume's good, the whole thing is out there, but fun. Really entertaining in person, tactile. Then to see all the pieces together and have it work in the story as a movie, as fresh as a piece of entertainment, full of surprises and joy, there's nothing like it. I'm not sure I've ever experienced it since. So he's a big fan of, a lot of people kind of hold this project that they worked on really close.
Dear. That's sweet.
We get
Sorry, I
No.
mean, I imagine it's the sort of thing where like working on something like this, it's going to be really hard to tell how it's all going to come together, because like seeing just pieces of this out of context, out of order, when there's been no movie like Beetlejuice, like I'm sure you're going to be like, yeah, I'm having fun, but like what is
this gonna because there's the miniatures, there's
Yeah.
the stop motion, there's
the main characters are ghosts.
and lack of music, I think too. I think in one of the screenings with audiences before they had put the soundtrack on, or the score by Danny Elfman, the audiences gave it really low scores, and when they played it again for them with the score,
It's amazing
it like
what a good
was through
score
the
can do.
roof.
Yeah.
So I'm sure even that aspect of it, of like, how is this gonna come together? Because then you have Michael Keaton, like a fucking Tasmanian devil tornado, just coming in, not doing anything on the script. So I can only imagine just being there like,
idea.
what's happening?
Yeah, what it's gonna be.
So everyone was like, it just talked about how the premiere was incredible to see. And so we get into box office. So we're rounding out, I promise everybody. It opened on March 30th and April Fool's Day
Amazing.
Of 1988.
Glorious.
I'm going to tell you what it earned in its opening weekend. It earned $8 million over Easter weekend, which was at the time the highest record for Easter weekend.
That's really impressive opening weekend.
Yeah. And then the first 2 weeks it earned $32 million. Wow. And then eventually grossed, take a guess, worldwide. You may guess high. It was high, but I'm afraid it.
Well, when you first said that, my instinct was, it probably passed 100. But if it only hit 30 domestic, then probably not. 60?
75.
Oh,
Yeah.
look at that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like I could see you going into
Yeah.
the 100, and
Yeah.
I wish it
Yeah.
should have.
It really should have.
So yeah, in 1988, it became the 10th highest grossing film.
Wow.
Which is so crazy to think about, this like young director.
Yeah.
A lot of like stars that are like this kind of
It's
made them.
Truly. Yeah, a lot of these people were not big names before Beetlejuice.
Even Winona Ryder talks about like when this came out, when she was at school, she was like, oh, because of the success of it, when I went back to school, like after it came out, she was like expecting people to kind of be like, oh my God, look at you, you're a star. And she was like, no, I was still be calling freak and weirdo.
That's so funny. It was exactly what she needed to get her ready for Heathers.
Yeah, truly. And then and she's always like, I want to be clear, I didn't invent goth. But apparently there was a really big rise in goth culture after this role. That. Hot Topic apparently went on to be like billion-dollar company after this. So she really kind of launched a more mainstream goth culture around this character, which I'm like, yes, this makes sense for all of us of 100%. Why she was the inspiration. It has 83% critic score and 82% audience score, which I feel like is low.
Yeah, I would expect it to be higher.
At least 90s.
Yeah.
It was the first Tim Burton film to win an Oscar. It won for special effects. V. Neil won Oscars for her work.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's obviously gone on to it went on to have a TV show, like I talked about, the animated series. It is so good. It also was a long running joke on Community, TV show. Yep. Which is so funny. It has a musical.
Adore Community.
I know. That's why when I saw that, I was like, Siena knows this.
Yep.
There's a musical, which I wish could have seen live. I listened to it on the way over. It's amazing. The music's so good. It got a sequel, like I said, Beetlejuice. It's good.
I haven't seen it still.
It's fun. It's entertaining. It's just, how do you...
You can't top the original.
You can't. But I think they did the best they could.
Love that.
So there definitely are some points where I was like, you could have used practical effects here, but that's fine. Because there's a really cool scene of like limbs coming together, and it was so CG. And I'm like, come on.
What did we all love about the original?
On. You could have pulled this together. And then that's the sequel we got, but there was a sequel we almost got. I guess screenwriter Michael had written something before he had passed. I forget what it was called. But there was that one, and there was also another sequel called Beetlejuice Goes Hawaiian.
Oh, no.
It was commissioned both by Michael Keaton and Winona Ryder, and they were signed on for it, but it got lost because Tim Burton had gone on to do Batman. I would have kind of loved to see... a short would have been nice. We could have gotten a short.
Yeah, I think it could hold up for about 10 minutes.
Yeah, and then there is... or not rumor. I think it's confirmed we're getting Beetlejuice.
I'm worried about
I'm a little worried about the third one.
That. That concerns me. That feels like too many Beetlejuices.
It is.
Beetlejuice.
Yeah. Truly. Boy, I felt like I was rushing through that one. My throat got a little dry. That's why I was mispronouncing things like Caligari.
The Cabinet of Dr. Calgary.
Listen, that could be a film also.
Absolutely.
But yeah, boy, it was hard to find stuff, but there's
so much.
There's so much. So I tried. I didn't talk about miniatures. I'm so sorry.
I feel
but
like
it's just hard to find
themselves too. Like there's a...
Yeah.
They're not trying to hide that they're miniatures.
Yeah. Even like the stop motion too, it's like...
It's not trying to hide that it's stop motion. Yeah, it's... What else is there to say?
I just found like the casting so wild that we almost had an Arnold Schwarzenegger Beetlejuice.
I cannot imagine.
We thought the Al Pacino lore was wild.
Yeah.
I feel like we might have a new lore to follow.
Okay, now we need a horror movie starring the two of them. A Schwarzenegger Pacino...
Oh my God.
Double billing horror movie.
Yikes. That would be the hardest thing to sit through.
In which they are warring to see which of them is going to be the final girl.
Oh my God, actually.
Neither of them is the villain.
Honestly, Al Pacino still... Yeah, he was in the ritual. I was like, he's still with us? God, can we get them old doing that, just pretending to be young?
Current them, yeah. No de-aging.
No.
Just acting.
Just acting.
Hollywood, call us up.
Oh my gosh. Boy, oh boy. I'm here. I'm so excited to
This is a delight. Yeah, I mean, my half's gonna be easy breezy sleazy by comparison.
And to think I wanted to talk about Saw.
God. I'm
so many things.
Saw will definitely happen.
We
got YouTube comments being like, please actually do Saw sometime.
Saw's great.
We will do Saw.
I want to do Saw, but this thank you, because I love this movie, and now I feel like I know more about it than I currently knew. I had no idea about the casting stuff. I had no idea about like the writing aspect of it. So
the Craven of it all. Like,
yeah, Wes Craven.
Wow,
crazy. Anyways, I gotta take a break. Yeah. We all gotta take a break. Let's all take a break together.
Let's all take a break. A break?
Oh God, you're gonna turn it to me. Sorry.
Oh, no. And we'll be right back. We're so excited that As Above, So Below Distillery here in Santa Fe, New Mexico just launched an Elvira Mistress of the Dark collab with their official Elvira Autumnal Gin. This all-female distilling team concocted a bewitching brew of botanicals as sexy and mysterious as Elvira herself. With details on the bottle featuring her iconic back tattoo, spiderweb designs straight off her macabre mobile, the attention to detail will delight or fright any horror fan. Distilled with a spooky blend of autumnal botanicals and a touch of macabre magic, the Elvira Mistress of the Dark Autumnal Gin delivers a hauntingly smooth flavor profile with a spine-tingling finish. Crafted for those who embrace their inner darkness, it features juniper, black cardamom, and cubeb. Whether you're sipping it under the moonlight or conjuring up a devilishly good cocktail, Elvira Mistress of the Dark Autumnal Gin will cast its spell on you. Now available to order online at aasbdistillery.com. Please check their website for which states they're shipping to and more information. You can also watch the process of making the gin on our Behind the Screams episode now on YouTube. Until then, unpleasant dreams.
And we're back.
I know Al's feeling nice and relieved. This is probably going to be one of my shortest segments in a while.
That was my longest. I know that for a fact.
And
so.
I loved every moment.
Good, I'm glad.
Could have gone for another hour and a half.
Truly.
All right, so Pet Sematary,
yes.
1989. This has been a long time coming for the podcast.
I know.
I don't know if we mentioned it on this episode yet or not. I know we mentioned it when we talked about doing it, but this is one of the ones that Al listed on your top 5 Halloween movies.
Other than Casper, I think I've covered all of my top 5 lists.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Which, obviously Casper is going to happen.
I know, we've
talked about a couple
that
of
in the Halloween
pairings.
tree.
Yeah, which I saw. Beastly has a hardcover copy of the Halloween tree right now, and I almost got it for myself. I was like,
you should.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see if it falls into somebody else's hands who has not read it yet, and if it doesn't, then it's meant for me. It's
love that.
I'm giving it 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But, so Pet Sematary, 1989. My God, this film has some delightfully terrible taglines.
Oh God.
A selection of the best and worst. Sometimes Dead is Better. The classic, the classiest.
Yes.
By far the best of the ones we're going to talk about.
It is the best.
Home is Where the Horror Is. Which
it doesn't fit this, but yeah.
It really doesn't fit this. I can understand why, but it's a terrible tagline.
Yeah.
A pet isn't just for life. And the absolute worst.
Oh no, it's gonna be my favorite.
Don't forget to put out the cat before the cat puts out you. It doesn't even really make grammatical sense.
Put out the candle, but they're the cat.
Yeah, it's very
wow.
Yeah, they really struggled to make that one work.
Sometimes Dead is Better is literally the best.
It's right there.
Just shut
up.
It's so
after
easy.
That. Yeah, just leave it at that.
Wow.
So, directed by Mary Lambert, who, as you mentioned when you brought this in on your top 5, was well known at the time for her work in music videos. I can't remember if we teased this last episode when we talked about doing this pairing or not, but
we didn't.
She's responsible for Madonna's Like a Prayer, Material Girl, Like a Virgin. She also did Janet Jackson's Nasty. She worked with Chris Isaak. She did the Betty Davis-ized singer Kim Carnes videos. She worked with Dolly Parton. What a career. Yeah. She also goes on to direct Pet Sematary 2, several TV movies, and episodes from shows like The Blacklist, Tales from the Crypt, which we were just talking about during the break, and The Goldbergs. So, very wild, like she's done sitcoms.
Yeah, she's just bopping around.
Yeah, just bopping around. So, kind of odd career, which I chalk up to being a female horror director and nobody quite knowing what to do with that.
Yeah.
And she is now a painter. And what does she paint, you might ask? Cats, my friend. She paints cats.
It's so cute.
And I think I showed you like one of these paintings.
Yeah,
I brought in 3.
I accidentally spoiled this because Siena was sitting like kind of next. I was like, oh my God, are you looking at like, I thought you were getting pet portraits of Theo.
Nope, it's Mary Lambert, director of Pet Sematary.
The one with the teeth.
I know. She
definitely
really
the cat's going,
captures the
"Meow."
personality of these creatures.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I just found that very charming. That
It's so sweet. They're so cool. What a talented human.
I know. And it makes sense, as we'll go on to hear. She cares a lot about animals and their comfort. So good person to be directing Pet Sematary.
Oh. Yeah, if you go on to do pet portraits.
You care about pets.
Yeah.
Adapted from the 1983 King novel of the same name. But in this case, the adaptation is done by Mr. Stephen King himself. You see, the story holds a special place in his heart. And we're going to talk about why, but yes, King is not just the author of the source material here, which made me curious what other screenplays specifically he'd written. And so I brought in a list. He did the screenplays for Creepshow, which is the main one before this that you might be familiar with, Cat's Eye, Silver Bullet, Maximum Overdrive, which he also famously directed to such disastrous results that he pretty much openly admitted he was high on coke the entire time.
We have to cover that one.
We absolutely must.
We
should do like a really bad horror disasters pairing. It'd be really
I love that movie though, but
one episode of Tales from the Dark Side, a TV series called The Golden Years, Sleepwalkers, The Stand, the 90s miniseries version of The Shining, LOL, one episode of The X-Files, Storm of the Century, Rose Red, Kingdom Hospital, Desperation, Heads Will Roll, A Good Marriage, and Cell. So he's done a lot of stuff. But in other words, with the sole exception of Creepshow, I would say this is pretty much the most famous King-created screenplay. I think those are the two that have stood the test of time, shall we say.
Sure.
The title is what is called a sensational spelling, which is where you deliberately misspell for intentional effect. But why?
Yeah.
It's from real life. King had found an old makeshift pet cemetery with that name misspelling and decided to steal it. Love when those kind of real life details make their way in. That's not the only real life detail that makes its way from King's life into this book. Put a pin in that. We'll get right back to it. But first, cast. We have Dale Midkiff as Lewis Creed. He's also Vincent in The Crow Salvation. So he appears in a Crow movie.
I love him.
Gary in Love Potion number 9, and Elvis in the TV movie Elvis and Me. Not a huge career has Mr. Dale Midkiff, but
he was great in this.
He's great in this. Fred Gwynn as Judd Crandall. He's also Herman Munster in The Munsters. Oh, I think I called him Fred Munster by accident
I didn't
earlier
hear you say
because
that.
his name is Fred Gwynn. But anyway, apologies, Fred. He's the judge in My Cousin Vinny, which I'd completely forgotten.
I haven't seen that.
And he's Arthur in Fatal Attraction.
I haven't seen that either.
Have I seen Fatal Attraction? I have seen Fatal Attraction. Was not impressed by Fatal Attraction. Anyway, Denise Crosby as Rachel Creed. She's also Caroline in The New General Hospital, Faye in Suits, Deb and Ray Donovan, Mary in The Walking Dead, Pat in Desert Heart. So she has like an appearance in a lesbian classic.
Yeah.
Miko Hughes as Gage. He's so precious. He's also Jeffrey in Apollo 13. Simon in Mercury Rising, and Joseph in Kindergarten Cop. He also has an uncredited cameo as the radio DJ in Tropic Thunder.
Oh my gosh.
But at this point, he is only 2.5 years old.
Oh my God, he is. Yeah.
My God. And we're going to talk so much about Miko. Miko is truly the star of this episode.
Oh my God, yeah.
As he should
be.
We have Blaze and Bo Beardoll as Ellie Creed. Blaze gets primary credit, while Bo is credited as Ellie Creed 2. Blaze goes on to play Lenny on the series Ghost Trader and voiced a character for an Are You Afraid of the Dark video game.
Oh.
We have Brad Greenquist as Victor Pascal. So gay.
I said I want a church tattoo. I also am debating a Victor Pascal tattoo because he's like the reason I love. Can I do a side quest?
Yeah, please.
He's the reason why I love this film so much. So this was one of my like horror movies I saw, and I was so afraid of him that it like scarred me.
Aww.
But I loved him.
How old were you when you first saw this?
I mean, I was probably too young.
Yeah.
I have a feeling.
Yeah.
I definitely was junior high. I had to have been junior high or even younger.
Wow.
But
Baby Al.
he scared the fuck out of me, but I
Love.
loved him. Like, it was the thing where I was peeking through the eyes and I'm like, I want to
The
like him, but I
delightful
don't
kind
want
of
him to
scared.
visit
Yeah.
me.
Oh yeah, 100%.
He's like my favorite in this.
Adore.
Sorry.
No.
Great.
Love that. So some other things that you might know Brad Greenquist from. He is Mr. Robinson in Water for Elephants. He is the shareholder in the 2013 Lone Ranger. He's Victor, which I think is possibly a character name homage to this movie's Victor in Annabelle Creation.
Whoa.
Bud Collins and King Richard from like 3 years ago.
Whoa.
And he's guested on a ton of shows, including Grimm, Why Women Kill, The Leftovers, Bones, The Mentalist, 6
my
Feet
gosh.
Under, and Star Trek Enterprise. Yeah.
Whoa, he's fucking everywhere.
Yeah, he's
Good
gone
to
on
see
to a
it.
really big career, especially like compared to some of the other cast on this.
Yeah.
He's gone on to one of the more successful ones.
Amazing.
We have Michael Lombard as Erwin Goldman. He's also Willie Stein in Network, Harry Sinclair on the Mary Tyler Moore Hour. He played multiple roles on my mentor's show, Barney Miller, so I had to shout that out. And Marshall Beck in Filthy Rich, Sam in Crocodile Dundee, Bobby in The Thomas Crown Affair, and of course, we get a cameo from the King of Horror himself. He is the minister overseeing the funeral about 41 minutes in.
So
He's
funny.
such a ham. You can tell he's having a blast.
Yeah.
Talk about giving his blessing to the project, literally. Like, my God.
That's so funny.
I feel like you can also, I may be incorrect about this, but this really feels like this is still within his Coke era.
It's
looking at the performance, it feels like it.
Yeah, he's a little puffy, like Alec Baldwin.
He's also talking very quickly.
Yeah.
For a preacher. So background. Clearly, this is not a The Shining situation. Stephen King very involved in getting this film off the ground, but this project was originally not meant for Mary Lambert at all. As we
Not
see,
surprised.
this is a recurring theme. King had actually held out on selling the rights to the novel, which was his most successful to date at this point.
Really?
Until just until the director he thought could handle the material approached him. And I brought in a quote from a New York Times article. Quote, King had turned down offers from Pet Sematary from almost every major studio and had also rejected, quote, a firm $1 million from a consortium. He sold the book. Do you know who was supposed to direct this?
Literally no idea.
Take a guess. Take a guess.
Wait, you gotta give me a hint because I forget everyone I've ever known.
Classic horror director. We've covered several of his films before. Was definitely
Carpenter?
No, but you're in the right family.
Warren's gonna guess it again. Go, Warren.
Cronenberg?
No, not
Pacino.
Cronenberg.
Oh, Cronenberg would have been a real Al Pacino. Cronenberg actually would have been a really good guess with the oh my god.
Think about the subject matter. Somebody who's famous for
George Romero.
Yep.
Romero. Fuck.
Mhm.
Duh.
Yep. So he sold
Two
the
on
book.
the nose.
Sold the book to Mr.
Dang.
George Romero for a handshake, a token payment of roughly $10K, and a healthy share of any profits for the movie.
I mean, profits for the movie is a great way to sell something.
Mhm.
Damn.
Now, this makes
Wild.
sense because King had worked with Romero on the aforementioned King scripted Creepshow. And he clearly felt that Romero got the vibe and was trustworthy enough to work with again. Not an easy thing to convince Stephen King of, obviously.
I was gonna say, especially to like kind of let go.
And especially because, again, that's one that he'd written the screenplay for. So he adapted his own work and was happy with how Romero directed it.
That's incredible.
So he's like, okay, it's in good hands. I'll finally sell this to Romero. But because this was one that was really popular, he was like, I'm holding out until this one can be done right. Because famously, I don't think any of my work's been done right.
Right.
So King also makes a big part of his deal with Romero that it has to be shot in Maine. Why? Because he wanted to help bring some economic uplift to the state, which I thought was really sweet.
Or is it because he didn't want to travel?
We'll get there.
That's cute, though.
It's really sweet. And a note on lore. It is not as prominent in the original movie, but both the novel and the remake lean into Wendigo imagery. So I felt like I should bring up a little bit about that here just to kind of like give us some background.
Yeah.
So Wendigos, have we talked about Wendigos on here before?
I think we did with Ritual.
That's what it
Yeah.
was. Yeah, little bit.
Little bit, yeah.
The word in Ojibwe loosely translates to winter cannibal monster. And I brought in a quote from Ojibwe scholar Basil Johnson, who describes it as, quote, gaunt to the point of emaciation, its desiccated skin pulled tightly over its bones, with its bones pushing out against its skin, its complexion the ash gray of death, and its eyes pushed deep back into their sockets. The Wendigo looks like a giant gaunt skeleton recently disinterred from the grave. What lips it had are tattered and bloody, unclean and suffering from separation of the flesh. The Wendigo gave off a strange and eerie odor of decay, decomposition, of death and corruption. So just great writing from Mr. Basil Johnston there.
What a picture.
And that's like very, as we all know, this is one of Stephen King's famous, like, everything comes back to an Indian burial ground type of things. So like I was like, let's like subvert that a little bit and bring in like an actual indigenous scholar speaking to some of like the real history behind that imagery. So anyway, there's your Wendigo crash course.
That was a great fucking description.
It's really good, right? And like I think really paints a good picture. And obviously the idea of the Wendigo is like it's this creature that is constantly hungry, and it basically like one of the versions I've heard is that the more it eats, the bigger it grows. So it never is able to get full. It just keeps growing and getting hungrier and hungrier. And it's a very good like metaphor for capitalism and stuff like that. So there's your Wendigo crash course. Writing to the page. So, of course, this film does not end up getting directed by George Romero, but we're going to get to that in a second, because first, you need to know that there's a reason why this story almost missed out on seeing the light of day long before the adaptation stage. Because much like Carrie, King abandoned this book. But unlike Carrie, Tabitha agreed with him on abandoning it this time.
Tabitha?
I know, Tabby, come on. So, quote from the same New York Times article, King said, quote, "You never know when an idea will turn mean. My wife read it and cried and said, you can't publish this." So...
Wow. Actually, that's a great reaction to have, though. Wouldn't that be like, this is going to be successful?
Yeah. So marketing ends up putting like a spin on this whole dynamic and ends up putting on the book jacket when the book gets released that this is the book Stephen King wrote that scares him the most. Which in reality, it's more that like he was pretty upset with what he'd written. But it sounds to me like he was kind of frightened by the story he was telling, as much because he was worried about the darkness of the material. And more on why for that in a second. But what ends up convincing him to go to print with it? Practicalities, because he had set this aside for 3 years until he legally owed Doubleday a new manuscript and had nothing else to submit.
Like, wait, let me rummage around. Here we go.
And he's like, what do I have? Oh, I guess I've got Pet Sematary. And so he allows that to be published.
Wow.
If you're wondering why he was so reticent, it makes a little more sense, though, when you know that this story was inspired by 2 real incidents in King's life.
So I figured.
One was that his daughter's cat, Smucky.
Smucky. God damn, why does it have a dumb, cute name like that?
I know. And Smucky's name appears on a whole bunch of graves in the Pet Sematary as a little homage. So Smucky was run over, and he had to figure out how to explain it to his daughter. And he was like thinking about this as kind of this like point of a child's first exposure to death, and how do you cope with that?
Yeah.
And then in 1979, his son almost gets hit by a car. He's okay, but as he puts it, quote, "If things had changed by 5 seconds, we would have lost one of our kids." Which I imagine then leaving a bad taste in your mouth as an author trying to mine that experience for material. Yeah. He also, of course, goes on later to be hit by a car himself in 1999. So there's like another layer to this as well. So just, you know, weird echoes for Stephen King in this one. It kind of makes a little bit more sense knowing that history, why it
affected.
Yeah, had some kind of starts and stops in the writing process.
Yeah, for sure.
So moving on into development, we can take that pin out of Romero now, because according to an interview that he gave on a horror panel in 2013, Romero had actually worked on a script for his version of Pet Sematary and was really excited to work on it. The reason that he wasn't able to was because he was also working on a movie called Monkey Shines at the time, and the schedules ended up conflicting because, from what I'd been able to dig up, Monkey Shines had wrapped its principal photography, but they realized they needed to do reshoots. And because he'd already shot the whole film as the director, he can't like abandon it at the reshoot phase. He's under contract, and he can't shoot Pet Sematary. So the project gets stalled. And then it really gets stalled because then by the mid to late 80s, you hit this point where the market becomes so oversaturated with King adaptations that nobody wants to make another King movie, which is wild to think about now.
Yeah.
And then on March 7th of 1988, the WGA, the Writers Union, goes on strike. And all of a sudden, scripts that were already polished and ready to go before the strike get pushed forward so that the studios have something to work on.
Dang.
Pet Sematary is one of those scripts. This is something that studios love to do as a kind of like union busting tactic.
Of course, yeah. They're like, we have these, so we're going. We don't need to right now.
It's tricky, though, because when you're working, if you decide to go ahead and shoot a finished script during a strike, you have to be, like, word perfect to that script.
Oh, yeah, because you can't. It would be considered a rewrite.
Changes. Like, even little dialogue changes, like if an actor improv something, you then can't contact the writer to get it approved. So, like, that can't happen. So it's a really dangerous way to try and make a movie. Yeah, exactly.
We're just flailing around.
So, like, even if something comes up, like, during production, like weather, schedule changes, actor availability, where you have to change things in order to shoot, you can't if you're shooting during a strike.
That's stressful.
So, it's an extremely risky proposition. Anyway, though, luckily, that doesn't end up being the case on this because the strike ends on August 7th, just in time to have pushed the film through development during that little sprint, but for it to be ready to go into production by the time full access to the writers is restored.
Damn.
So it really, the timeline ends up being really, really lucky for Pet Sematary. And so, enter Mary Lambert. This is where we get her. At the time, she was not a mother herself. She has a kid, I think, 3 years after this film, and she goes on to say that she might not have taken the project had she been a mother at the time because of the material.
Yeah, it's tough, man.
As she says later, quote, "The death of a small child can destroy a family. It's one of the hardest things for a marriage to survive." So there's a truth there, a really solid truth. And Stephen just expanded it into a metaphor for that truth. To me, that's what great horror movies always do, is they take a subject that's a little taboo that people don't want to think about.
Yeah,
so
same with Beetlejuice too.
Exactly.
Like the topic of death is so
taboo.
And they were like, let's on the opposite side and lightened it up a little bit.
Exactly.
Unlike yours.
So King still, though, because he's been so careful about what happens with the rights, he still gets final say over the director for the project. So he has to approve.
Ooh.
So even though Lambert is down for the material at this point, King has to be down for Lambert. So how does she convince him? Well, according to Lambert, she does this in 3 ways during a sit-down at a Denny's in Maine. Love the scene setting there. One is that her own first film, Siesta, which is the only feature she's directed at this point, also dealt with similar themes of kind of grief and loss and obsession, so she feels sort of ready for the material. Second is that she is a giant Stephen King fangirl and makes this very clear in the conversation. Makes it clear that she knows this source text in and out, has read the book multiple times, absolutely adores it. But third, and probably most important, here's a quote from her. "I think it's because I was very good friends with Dee Dee Ramone, and that sealed the deal."
Honestly, use what you got, you know?
Lambert knew the Ramones from her work in the music video world. Stephen King was a huge fan of the Ramones, a shared point of reference, which of course becomes very important to the project. More on that later.
Isn't he like a big metalhead or something like that too?
Yeah,
he's about like the concerts he's been to. Yeah,
he's a giant music geek.
And that's how we would have never gotten the iconic song
at the end. Yeah, we wouldn't have gotten the song. We wouldn't have gotten Mary Lambert directing. It's because of the Ramones.
That's so funny.
Yeah. Now, a note on female directors in the 80s. Before we move on to production, I feel like this is a good time to bring in a quote from Lambert that touches on some of the prejudices she faced as a female horror director working in this period and at this budget scale, and how she responded to them. She says, quote, "I don't really understand why anyone would say that women shouldn't direct horror movies because they aren't tough enough or they don't understand it. Most horror movies involve the spiritual world, which I think women are much better at understanding and interpreting than men are, honestly. So it seemed like a stupid observation to me. Unfortunately, the reality of it is that women are not given the same opportunities in the film industry that men are, even after you think you have success, or even after you have a success, and that's just the way it is. I think it's getting better, and I think the best thing that I can be is a role model to younger women, because when I was in my 20s, there were very few role models, which who would Mary Lambert in 1988 have in Hollywood in female directors to look at for reference?
And to her point of like success, like she did arguably the most iconic, even to this day,
Like a Prayer
music videos of all time.
Yeah.
And the fact that people are still gonna be like, do you think you can do this? It's like, shut the fuck up, actually.
And as we're going to talk about, this movie is incredibly financially successful, and she still goes on to have a very difficult time getting other projects. So it's
I
just
love
like
that she was willing to be a role model, though.
And I love that she's like as open as she is about like, fucking sucks.
Yeah,
like
she seems like such a cool. Well, even like today, I've noticed in like TV is kind of transformed into these like mini. Every episode is like a mini film.
Yeah.
But it's so funny looking because a lot of these TV series like Mandalorian and Severance, when I'm like, that's my favorite episode, I look back and it's always a fucking woman that was directing it.
Funny how that
is.
As a side note, I found multiple reports across a whole bunch of different secondary sources, like, articles that were written, people talking on Reddit, like other places that aren't citing a source, basically. Saying that Tom Savini was asked to direct and turned the project down, but I couldn't trace this back to any primary source that I trust. And so it's true that Savini knew King by this time because they'd also met on Romero's Creepshow. So all three of them were working on that together. But by this time, Savini had only directed 3 episodes of Tales from the Dark Side, and I just have a hard time buying him turning the gig down.
Right.
That doesn't sound believable to me. I feel like he would have jumped at the opportunity. So I'm personally calling bullshit on that because I couldn't find anything believable to back it up. The most I could find is like, they knew each other.
Yeah.
That feels to me like something that people are like, oh, wouldn't this have been fun if that got blown out of proportion.
With, their little group.
Yeah, internet loves to do that. So, moving into production, do you want to take a guess at the budget? Yeah, this is 1 year after yours.
I know, but Stephen King adaptation. Carrie had come out before. Yes, the 70s.
Yes. Carrie and The Shining and Creepshow. So
there's not like an insane amount of. You do have a fire.
You have a fire. You have a whole bunch of animal actors. You have child actors.
Oh God, like 25.
No,
higher.
Less than half of that.
Oh, was it like 10? I was wondering if is it lower than Beetlejuice?
It's lower than Beetlejuice.
Okay, my brain was thinking because I was like,
it should be higher than Beetlejuice. It seems like.
Yeah.
Estimated production budget was 11.5 mil. Wow. Which I think even that is probably still. I imagine they were only able to get that much because of Mary Lambert's music video crowd.
Sure.
But that's again looking at it next to Beetlejuice, like by comparison. I feel like this is, again, just sheerly in terms of the animal and child actors alone. You're having to do more expensive things on this, and they had less money, and it's a year later. So, just a female director in Hollywood things.
I was going to say, I should have just known from that alone that they weren't going to give.
Of course she got less money.
Because if they gave Burton, after having success on Pee-wee, 15 mil, of course they didn't give her anything.
Yeah, of course not. She's a woman. We're not going to
She doesn't know how to do finances. She just got a bank account in the 70s. Without a man.
Literally, though. Okay, anyway, remember the shooting in Maine stipulation?
Yeah.
This holds over from the deal with Romero to the deal with Mary Lambert. Production ends up in and around Ellsworth, Maine, which is very close to King. He only had to drive 20 minutes to make it to set, and so he ends up hanging out basically the whole time.
Not doing lines.
Literally.
Doing lines, reading lines.
I was just going to say, lines every which way.
Lines on lines.
Lines on lines on lines. This was, of course, not a new development, though, since he'd retained so much creative control, and he and Lambert had kind of, like, been on the phone together off and on, discussing, like, every single detail down to, like, the layout of the cemetery itself.
Wow, yeah.
So she gave him a lot of say, which I imagine has a lot to do with why he had a good time on this one.
Of course.
I also imagine because of that his presence very much felt like it was kind of looming over production long before he appeared in person.
Yeah.
You get lots of Ellsworth locals as some of the smaller supporting roles and the extras. The road up to the burial ground was shot at an abandoned granite quarry in Acadia National Park. The hospital set was shot inside Ellsworth Town Hall, which you can really tell.
Yeah.
That's no hospital.
No.
And apparently, this was wild to me. Judd's house was a real house that they just built and then insulated with asbestos, and then built a fake house around it so that they could burn the fake house.
Whoa.
And I'm like, why would that be the way that...
Wouldn't you just do a facade?
Yeah! Like, why?
Oh my God.
Why would you go to the trouble to build it around a real house and then insulate the real house with asbestos?
Like, that's fucking excessive, man.
It's just so...
That's the most.
Yeah.
That wasn't a very smart choice.
What a time in film history this is.
Yikes.
Yeah. Of course, with a project like this, you have to shoot at the appropriate time of year. So they're shooting in fall of '88. And it is a star-studded set. And I don't mean in terms of the cast and crew. I mean in terms of who came to visit them. But we're going to get to that in just a second.
Stephen King just bringing all those friends. He's like, come on. Do lines in between the asbestos and the wall.
Yeah. Do a little line of asbestos. Why not? Yeah.
Put it together.
Just like pull some off. Yeah. So cast and crew. Children and animals, infamously the two most expensive kind of performers to have on a film set. And obviously this film is completely dependent on both of those to work. One of the classic ways of getting around labor restrictions for work hours per day with child actors is casting twins, of course. And that's the case with Blaze and Beau playing Ellie. And the studio wants to do the same.
I didn't know they were twins.
It's twins, yeah.
That actually blows my mind.
Right? And
there was two of them that were bad.
It's weird to me that only one of them really gets credited. Like, they don't credit it as Blaze and Beau. They credit it as Blaze.
Also, Blaze and Beau.
It's really cool twin names. That's goes hard.
Fucking Blaze and Beau.
I know. And like their last name starts with a B too. Birdall too.
Yeah,
so it's very alliterative. And the studio wants Gage to be cast as twins as well, which
because he's 2.5 years old.
He's 2.5 years old. Obviously you want the 2.5-year-old to be twins.
Yeah.
And Mary Lambert's like, nah, not gonna happen. Yeah.
Weird.
So how do we get baby Gage?
He's so cute.
I know. Here's her explanation, quote, "He wanted to do it, and that's why I cast him. He was almost pre-verbal. He was talking a little bit, and he could understand me, but he wasn't talking in complete sentences. It was like working with an alien. I taught him, go to your mark, wait for action. It was really fun. And that's my advice for anyone working with children. You want to work with a child that really wants to do it and isn't being pushed into it by their parents and doesn't have ambivalent feelings. If you do that, you get this incredible motivation to please you and to be part of the group and to take part of the game, and it's very thrilling."
Oh my God.
She's like, it's just so sweet.
It makes sense because 2.5 years old. You can tell when kids because some kids
want to be there,
are good at playing that game. Like, oh, stay here, and then cry. Like some kids just like to do that, and he
just has the performer gene in him.
He really does.
Baby
Again,
Nico.
As two people that I love Baby Gage.
Yeah, he's incredible.
He's adorable, and I don't know who I am when I say that.
Same.
But man, his death really hurts me. He's just so cute.
And he had so much fun.
Oh my God, I'm so
shooting
happy.
it. Yeah.
So happy to hear that.
But of course, because he's only 2.5 years old, there are all sorts of ethical quandaries on top of the workplace laws. And Lambert cares a lot about that. And so here's a quote from her. Quote, "I felt a tremendous moral obligation not to traumatize him.
Sure.
He was never in the room with blood. Anytime there's blood and you see a head or a hand, it's a puppet. The only exception was the scene where Lewis put him down with the needle, but we'd been working up to it for quite a while together, and he was really up for doing that scene."
Yeah, his little cry when he gets stabbed. You can tell he was just like, I gotta cry now.
Yeah, you can tell he's having a great time.
The little puppet Baby Gage hand is always my favorite, though. It's just so stupid.
You can really tell it's a puppet.
Yeah, they didn't really do a good job at that. But
which I'm fine with. Yeah. I'm like, I don't want to think that that's real baby Nico doing things.
No.
Like, it comforts me to know that it's not.
His little performance with the needle is just the best.
And she's followed up with adult Nico since, like 20 years on the line, and said, quote, "He promised me that he doesn't feel traumatized at all, and he barely remembers it."
Promised me. You fucking promised me I didn't traumatize you?
I can just picture Miko sitting there. He's like, dude, I was 2. I don't remember any of it.
I just wish like, I wish sometimes I wasn't in Michigan when I was young, because I'm like, I was a kid that loved to play and pretend, and I feel like
you would have been a great child actor.
I feel like I would have been a good child actor, not a real one. Not actor with a capital A, but like little me would have had so much fun, and I don't think it would have traumatized me at all.
I feel like you would have had the temperament. Yeah, from the little I know of baby Al. We do have to talk about one thing that gives me bad vibes. Just one, and it's not in the scope of like what we've talked about on this podcast. It could be so much worse.
Our bar is low.
It's low, but that's the casting of Zelda. Zelda's the sister.
Yeah.
Zelda is played by Andrew Hubatsek, and to me it just kind of feels like a cheap transphobic casting trick, because here's a quote on why Lambert chose him. Quote, "I wanted Zelda to look kind of skinny and bony and have a weird edge to her, and all of the little girls we brought in for casting were all kind of sweet and pretty and soft and, you know, little girls. And finally, in desperation, I said, let's try casting a little boy, and it just worked." And like, okay, I get it. You wanted to find a bony, skinny kid, and also like it was an adult performer too. It's not a
I was
little
gonna
kid.
say that there's no way that's a child.
It's not a child, no. But like, I don't think it's that hard to find an uncanny little girl, and it just sounds to me like at best the casting directors weren't doing a great job.
Right.
And so you just kind of get what feels to me like problematic stunt casting, where I see it and it just looks like the thing I'm supposed to be creeped out by is like, oh, it's not really a girl, and like that feels transphobic to me.
Yeah.
So I'll just put that there. We've dealt with a lot more transphobic stuff on this podcast. It could be a lot worse, but like that's just my one like, don't love that. So
I never. I mean, maybe this is just me being. I know this film. I haven't looked at it. I think that's a wonderful perspective to, because no one had the fucking language, so I don't think
anybody like
it was like the other. But boy, did Zelda bone and like the mouth.
It's real
really,
upsetting.
Really,
and like
I
do think Andrew gives like a really good performance. It just kind of falls in the same category to me as like The Mother in Barbarian, where I'm just kind of like,
they didn't.
Okay, but like, how much of it is that you think that like this is actually the best performer, and how much is that you're like, ew, man dressed as woman, and like,
I'm curious.
Maybe I'm being unfair there, but it gives me the ick a little bit.
I'm sure you're not alone.
Yeah,
I didn't think of that, but it is in 80s.
89.
So I wouldn't be surprised if there was like this other quality.
Yeah, especially because like there's multiple interviews that they've given where you hear Mary Lambert talking about like it just seemed scarier that it's a man, and I'm like, oh, I don't love that.
Yeah.
Don't love that.
Boy, man. So, looking back on interviews sometimes it's rough.
So like I wanted to bring in a quote that's like a little bit kinder to Mary, but like it's a little, you can tell, especially the interviews from the time specifically. It's very like, oh yeah. There's a little bit of that othering going on. But anyway, making of that's getting us out of the one little unpleasant detail that I had. Set visits. So when I call this set star-studded, beyond Stephen King just casually hanging out on location a good chunk of the time, this got set visits from Charlie Sheen, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and in a little weird horror royalty tid. So Lance Anderson, special effects guru, worked on this project with his son David Anderson. Son David is at the time dating Heather Langenkamp from Nightmare on Elm Street and proposed to her on the set of Pet Sematary. Talk about horror engagement.
Oh my god, I love that.
Isn't that wild?
What a vibe.
Yeah. Imagine Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is just in the corner and Charlie Sheen's off doing coke with Stephen King. Like,
right? What a fucking... I need photos.
Truly.
That's
so like
insane.
Really horror royalty going on here.
Damn.
And everyone like very much chips in to make the experience as positive as possible for the child actors.
Oh, good.
Especially Herman Munster, Fred Gwynne. Here's a quote from Lambert who says, "Fred Gwynne was wonderful working with Miko. Like, come on, we're gonna play a game and I'm gonna lie down on the floor and you're gonna jump on me. Okay, I want you to climb out from under the bed and scare me. Boo!" Miko always had one specific thing to do: jump out from under the bed and be scary, or walk across the room and growl like a dog. He would do it, and then we'd all clap and tell him what a great job he'd done. He was the star of the moment.
Oh my god, yeah. Especially like little, like I feel like 2.5-year-olds like love that attention.
Yeah.
Too.
Mm-hmm.
He seemed good with the kid because even like I don't know, you can just like feel his energy.
It. And you can see just like how comfortable Miko is around.
Yeah, I think that's what it is too. Yeah, that he seems comfortable around a big man.
Yeah, like you can tell that they're just playing.
Yeah.
Like animals. We've now talked a lot about one half of the Children and Animals director hell duo. So what about those feline and canine actors? Because Mary had grown up on a farm, she really wanted to make sure that the set wasn't traumatic for the animals either. So again, just like the amount of care that she puts in, I really respect. And one of the techniques that helped both the filmmakers and the animals themselves was casting a whole lot of animals for each animal role. So like there are 8 or 9 different churches.
Yeah, and not killing them like Milo and Otis.
And not killing them like Milo and Otis or Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
So they had, especially for the cat actors, they say, you had to really, the cactors, you had to really cast like 1 cat per skill. So like...
Yeah. No, that totally makes sense.
So you have like a jumping cat, a snarling cat, a being picked up by the scruff of the neck cat. And...
So cute.
For the scene where Church gets put down, the one that you asked about. So they have the ASPCA on set for the scene to supervise and make sure that everything's safe. And they talked to the ASPCA beforehand about, like, what's the best way we can do this? Because the cat needs to look kind of dopey, like sleepy, but we want it to be safe. And so what they end up doing is they give him kitty Valium.
Oh, well, they do that for cats who get stressed in car rides. You know what I mean?
No, exactly. So, they give him like appropriate cat medication and get him a little bit sleepy, and then they use a retractable prop needle for the fake injection.
Because he really, it's because his little arm
is
like bent backwards and like,
the way he's just like,
he's like, hello.
It's so
I figured they did some sort of like appropriate sedation for the cat.
Well, and Mary Lambert talks about like, well, now I use kitty Valium anytime I travel with my cats, and they're only supposed to have half, so half goes to the cat and half goes to me.
Shut the fuck up. I love her. What an icon. And one for you and one for me.
And the glowing cat eyes.
Yes.
Done in camera. Because
it looks so good.
It's so cool. It's just because of the way cat retinas are.
Yeah, they do get that creepy
They have
glow.
this reflective quality. It's something about the rods and cones in their eyes, so that a light shining at just the right angle, it will just do that to a cat.
They didn't amplify it at all.
No,
in post?
There's no computer effects on that. That's all in camera.
Because for 89, it looks too good.
It does.
Because the cat's moving, so to match it up would be kind of...
it's the specific quality that cat eyes have. That's so cool, right?
Thought, but then I thought that was wrong.
Yeah.
Because it's so intense.
Cinematography. The director of photography on this project is Peter Stein, who worked in the camera department on the first Friday the 13th. Got to see what a good animal set is like on this project.
Right.
Steps up to director of photography for Friday the 13th Part 2. Funny. He'd also just worked with Dale Midkiff because he's the one who shot Elvis and Me, where Dale plays Elvis.
Stop it. I have to see that just because
I'm very curious about it now, especially since like multiple crew members. Oh, I'm sure. Again, TV movie about Elvis from like the mid 80s.
And
like,
no one's ever heard of, yes.
Yeah. Costumes. So I didn't find any interviews with the costume designer herself, but I did find a fascinating tidbit from Mary Lambert about the costumes depicted in the creepy painting, the like creepy child painting, which, so upsetting. So, quote, that was painted especially for the movie. Marlene Stewart, my costume designer, designed the costume we were going to put Gage in at the end of the movie, and we had the artist paint the child in that costume. Earlier in flashback, you'll notice that Zelda is in that costume too. It's creepy because the painting of the dead child dressed up as an adult in fancy clothing that reflects reality. I was trying to plant the connection between Gage and Zelda subliminally in the movie.
I don't think I've ever caught that.
It's like so unconscious, but I think you feel it even if you don't necessarily notice it consciously.
He's so creepy when he's in that fucking outfit with his little hat.
Ugh.
It really it creeps me out so bad. The little like heel cutting, the Achilles heel.
Oh, it's really upsetting. And the painting is so creepy.
It's
too.
really
it's
creepy.
Really good. Music, of course, we get 2 Ramones songs. We have Sheena as a punk rocker playing in the cab of the semi truck.
Yeah. Yep.
And Pet Sematary over the ending credits. That title track, famously despised by a lot of people who consider themselves like hardcore Ramones fans, which like you can deal. But it hit number 4 on Billboard's modern rock tracks at the time. And the OST is composed by Elliot Goldenthal. This was only his third score after Cocaine Cowboys and Blank Generation, but he goes on to an incredible career.
Really?
He composed Drugstore Cowboy, which I love, Alien 3, Interview with a Vampire, Batman Forever, Heat. He did the
Jesus.
OST for Across the Universe. Lots of work with Julie Taymor, speaking of female directors. It turns out they've actually been in a relationship for a long, long time. So he's Julie Taymor's partner.
Cute.
And he won an Academy Award for his score for Taylor's Frida, which I love.
Oh.
So very cool.
Yeah.
And again, this is only his third film.
Wow. How cool.
Editing. Mary, as is very common for an early career director in A Beautiful Place, gets really overexcited in her cut and puts in like way too much Maine atmosphere of just like beautiful shots of Maine, which has to then be cut down because they're like, this isn't a postcard, Mary.
Yeah,
Like,
she's probably like, I'm trying to win over Stephen King.
yeah, literally.
Shut up.
Yeah, yeah. That wasn't the only major change Mary had to make, though, because the studio also made her shoot a new ending. Do you know about this?
I feel like at one point I did.
So it's subtler than the new ending we get for Heathers, because there are some of the same original ingredients there. But here's a quote from her. She says, quote, "The original scene, as written, was more spooky and sad, tragic. Lewis is sitting in the dark kitchen playing solitaire. He's waiting to see what will happen, and then Rachel comes back, and you see that she only has on one high heel and she's dead. It's like, this isn't going to be good, but what's it going to be? It kind of leaves that question mark. I like ambivalence, especially in an ending, honestly, because rarely in life is there a resolution, a clean, happy ending resolution where, oh, we know exactly what's going to happen now. They're going to go on to live happily ever after, or not, or even if it's a tragic ending. Now, though, Lambert thinks that it makes sense not to release that alternate ending because it's still, there's, again, similarities to the theatrical release. It's like the theatrical release takes it farther, essentially.
Yeah.
Where you have her, like, actually come up to him and it's implied that she kills him over the ending credits. And I mean, you know, we're also all suckers for a gruesome SFX makeup look, which we get more of in this version.
Oozing eye.
It's so good.
It's so gross.
Ugh. When the time came for a 30th anniversary re-release, though, along with the remake that happened in 2019, Lambert gets to come back and remaster the film. And she loved that experience because she wasn't really happy with some of the VFX from the time. And so she gets to, especially for the Micmac burial ground.
Yeah.
She said she felt like the way they shot that scene, it was too overlit and like too bright. And so for her remastered version, she goes back in and adds like digital fog and darkens the image a little bit. Cool. So stuff like that. Yeah. I don't think I got to see her remastered version. I think I watched the original. But
I'm thinking I did too.
I also just wanted to shout out that, you know, the Don't Make Me Tell You Twice scene where Dale Midkiff has Pascal come back for the first time. They had to reshoot that in post because the first time they shot it, Dale Midkiff was shirtless and everyone was worried that he was distractingly hot.
But yeah, that's what we're concerned about at that moment. Oh,
so they go back and reshoot it with him wearing pajamas because they were like, I think he's actually wearing scrubs, but they were like,
he's wearing scrubs. Oh my God, too sexy.
Yeah, too sexy.
He was getting ripped for Elvis.
Ripped and then unripped for Elvis, really. So released on April 21st of 1989, less than 2 months after Lambert's famously Vatican banned Like a Prayer music video drops. So she releases that, and then like a month and a half later this comes out. Wow. This also means that they had a very tight turnaround from shooting in the fall to premiering in April. That's
I was wondering.
Mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Do you want to guess what it made back? So budget of 11.5 mil.
You said successful.
Very successful.
Oh my gosh. Like 60 mil.
Very close. It's just shy of 57.5.
Dang.
Yeah.
Wow,
so
that's incredible.
Makes back more than 5 times its production budget, which makes it all the more frustrating to me that Lambert does not go on to like a really prominent career because again, that's a huge box office success.
Yeah, that's wild.
So, yes, smash hit financially, but it does very badly with critics. It holds, I know. Currently holds a 58% on Rotten Tomatoes. from critics.
Idiots.
And a 60% from audiences. So barely any better.
What the fuck?
I know. Gene Siskel actually gave it 0 out of 4 stars and called it sickening.
Good.
Yeah.
Again.
Love.
You nailed it. It's gross.
Several other critics, including Leonard Maltin, were especially harsh on it for quote unquote not trusting its audience. And I'll be honest, I think this comes down to 2 main things. I think part of it is that a lot of people were unfamiliar with the music video style that Mary Lambert's coming from.
Sure.
Which is very like, and this is clearly shot by somebody who comes from the music video world. Where it's you will get flashes of imagery recurring to like convey an emotion, where part of it is like the rhythm of the images is conveying the point as much as the images themselves.
Right.
And I think that's a very music video director thing, but I could see somebody who's used to traditional filmmaking and has never turned on MTV in their lives, which I'm imagining, you know, I'm imagining Leonard Maltin is not like watching a whole lot of MTV in an evening. I could imagine him being like, oh, this is like not trusting its audience instead of, oh, this is a specific style that this person is famous for and is doing the thing that she knows. I also do think that there's a degree to which, particularly because it's this film about dead kids and dead animals directed by a woman, I think there's like a particular moral outrage around it where like, again, you see people calling it things like sickening.
Maternal woman who's the only thing she's bred to do.
Yeah, I do think there's a lot of response from critics that's like, oh, we're not supposed to see this from a woman. That's like,
oh, I'm 110%.
Like, I feel like had this been directed by Romero and been the exact same movie, I'm not saying that it would have like gotten like 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. I do think it would have had less people calling it sickening because it's like, it's a horror movie that's about dead animals being reanimated. What were you expecting?
Out of like, no, it's 100%.
Yes.
Why?
Yeah. And I do think, especially when you have critics like Kevin Thomas in the LA Times, I pulled in a quote from, where he describes Lambert's direction as, quote, "She goes for strong, succinct images and never stops to worry whether there's a lack of credibility or motivation." I'm like, that's very clearly you're recognizing an MTV style and not understanding what it is. That's strong, succinct images, not worrying about motivation. That's music video editing.
Did anyone research her?
No, I don't think they did. I don't think they did.
This woman directing.
Yep. However, it's very much like a horror fan's horror movie. So places like Bloody Disgusting and Dread Central give it like 4 or 4.5 stars. It's ranked at number 16 on not 1 but 2 separate best Stephen King adaptations lists. So officially the 16th best, as decided by multiple places. One's from IFC, one's from Rolling Stone. And Influence, of course, Lambert does come back to direct the sequel in '92, which references the original but features an entirely new cast of characters, among them Edward Furlong.
It's so, honestly, also, it feels more music video-y.
Interesting.
The second one.
Oh, that's fascinating.
Like, it kind of, I think, is overtly a little bit more her style in that way.
That makes sense.
It's good. I gotta say it's good. Yeah.
There's a documentary on the film called Unearthed and Untold, The Path to Pet Sematary, which came out in 2017. I got a lot from that. And after 3 attempts, a remake with John Lithgow as Judd Crandall made it to theaters in 2019. And of course, there's the widely despised Pet Sematary Bloodlines from 2023, which,
Have I seen Bloodlines?
It's the show we never watched.
Oh, yeah. I was okay with the remake.
Oh, interesting.
It was fine.
That's kind of the general vibe that I've gotten, is like,
the original is just so good. I'm sorry.
It doesn't seem like it's one of the like really despised remakes. It also doesn't seem like it brought anything new to the
I was gonna say,
table.
that's what I feel like. I don't remember what happened. Might have fallen asleep.
Let's see. And then I just have like a couple of watch notes that I want to end with. One of which is that I took a picture of the credits because the supervising Foley editor's name...
Siena? Is it Siena?
No.
Oh.
Is Butch Wolf.
Butch
Wolf.
Okay, maybe
on Pet Sematary.
I feel like, as we're film people, right?
Yeah.
And like we understand how much it takes. I stay until they come into sweet popcorn. I get like horrified if I don't watch the end credits. And it's mainly because y'all had to fucking see some people's names. It like opens up my worldview. Yeah. And you wouldn't get Butch Wolf.
You wouldn't get Butch Wolf.
You wouldn't know that exists. I love that.
So good.
Fucking hope they're doing well.
I also
Butch Wolf. the
What an
mom
icon.
or the parent of Bo and Blaze.
There you go.
Is Butch.
Relative of
Yeah.
famous TV name Dick Wolf.
Yeah.
Famous icon. I don't know if they're actually related.
Evil
y'all. That's
opposites
just,
of each other.
That's the
Butch and
version.
Dick.
That's the version of Dick Wolf that comes back for the Pet Sematary is Butch Wolf. I also just have to shout out the fog in the path to the Pet Cemetery during the nighttime scenes was so beautiful, and I was sitting there looking at it and going like, how the fuck did they get this fog to only
Cooperate.
stay in this tiny little path?
Yeah.
And as I was
Fans?
watching it with my partner, Dana's guess, which I think is probably right, and so I'm just going to shout it out here, and
Yeah.
if somebody knows something else, you can correct us, but because one of the things that you'll typically do with a fog machine is dry ice, right? To get it to like stay in place.
Yeah.
You can see a little more clearly in the daytime shots. They've really dug the trench of that path down so far that like it doesn't look like it's deep in the nighttime scenes.
Sure.
But it's a deep trench that's lined with rocks on either side. And I think it's just that the fog is so cold that it's staying low enough to the ground that it hovers in place.
And then the rocks kind of create
keep
this
it,
like
keep it in
for
this
it.
little,
That's
like
it.
almost like a stream.
Yeah, absolutely. Makes sense to me.
Which is like, it creates just such a, you look at it and you're like, fog doesn't move that way. It like feels like the laws of physics are being broken.
It feels like little spirits are moving. Like that extra force.
Well, and I'd
is
read
here.
that was one that Mary Lambert was especially nervous to shoot because in the screenplay, Stephen King has this description of the path being like bathed in moonlight. And she's like, how do I make it look like just the path is bathed in moonlight? Like it's like just this that's illuminated. And so the fog is their solution.
So good.
Which just, mwah,
I know.
so good.
I really do want to go to that cemetery, I gotta say.
Yeah.
There's something in me that like
You do
I
want to be
wanna
buried
go.
in the Pet Cemetery.
I would.
Yeah.
You know, just to see. See how I
Just
come
to
back.
find out. Yeah, just to get a taste of that dirt.
Yeah. That's sour dirt.
That's sour dirt.
Oh my god, I love this movie. I'm so happy
so
you got to
good.
see
I
it.
really enjoyed it. I'm disappointed to
cozy.
find out that it's still, I feel like, has not been reappreciated in the way a lot of the horror movies we talk about kind of getting reclaimed.
Yeah, it still feels culty.
Yeah,
to a point.
I think it's not, it hasn't hit the mainstream yet. And
Yeah.
again, I think it's just sexism. I think it's just sexism.
Probably. It's a perfect movie
It's
in my
really
opinion.
wonderful.
It just feels it's a cozy one
It's
for
very
me.
cozy. It's very good. It's cozy.
Yeah.
It's got incredible practical effects.
Yeah.
Again, those child and animal performances are
I'm happy to hear
great.
it was a good time because it makes it
Yeah.
like both these were apparently really fun sets to be on,
Which
so that
just
makes me
it feel like so
so
cozy
happy.
to watch. Like
Yeah.
it's just, it really feels, I can see why it's a comfort horror for you
Yeah.
because it just oozes good vibes.
Yeah.
Like,
And honestly, it's out of love. It's heartbreaking
Yeah.
and so sad. I mean, I actually get like full body chills every time Gage gets hit. Every fucking time. It makes
it's
me like
so upsetting.
it's so upsetting, but it's still like one of my favorite. Like I still love it.
because he comes back.
Yeah, he
It's
comes back and he gets to
fine.
be sassy.
Yeah.
And he has the best line of all time when he falls against that wall. Well, when he turns the corner, the no fair.
No fear.
And then his little like tumble back, which I don't know if is like them like if that's a reverse.
I don't know.
But oh my god, he's so good the way he just trips over his stuff and falls. His little face too.
I know. I love hearing that it, like the direction they gave
Be a
him was
dog.
like, be scary,
Yeah.
growl like a dog.
Growl like a dog.
That's so cute.
I mean, you know, it's a good movie if you get me to like a kid.
Yeah, so true.
Although the daughter can just,
She's awful.
you know, put her in
They're
the cemetery,
awful, I
bury her
guess.
alive. Maybe then she'll just die.
As always, kill the kid, eat the baby.
Kid. Except for baby Gage. I'm so glad you liked
was
it.
really
These were good
fun.
birthday
This
picks.
was a delightful
Yeah,
pairing.
it feels like starting off my birthday month, correct?
And very like actually a lot of themes in common in terms of like the undead returning.
yeah, they're didn't realize.
Yeah, I feel like
picking
there's
those,
a lot of common ground between
Yeah.
the cemeteries in both of our films.
Just very different vibes. So
Yes,
depending on what you're in the mood
yes.
for,
Yeah.
very different vibes.
What a delight. Well, and we have
Other
another
birthday.
birthday special coming up
I know,
for our
I'm
next
like,
episode.
Do we have him come announce or
Yeah.
do we just blurt it out? No, okay, we'll blurt it out.
We blurted out? So
Yes, I'm
what's
gonna let
Al
you say.
covering?
What am I? Wait, whatever.
Oh,
what am I? Which one am I covering?
I have them both written down.
Okay.
Here, let me pull it up.
I don't know what I'm covering, actually.
We are, as I pull out my notes, because I can never remember anything these days.
Yeah, it's Trav's birthday. We're all of our birthdays. Siena's the summer one, and then the rest of us are all fall.
Big sad gay
Sorry.
birthday.
That's why it's sad, because you're by yourself.
It's true. It's a lonely birthday. So next up, we have Al covering Army of Darkness.
Okay.
From 1993.
I wasn't sure. Yay.
And I am covering Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon from 2006, which I had not heard of before I got told I was covering it. So I'm very excited.
And it was really
It looks really
good.
funny. I watched the trailer and I'm excited.
I gotta rewatch the trailer. I haven't seen this might be a shock, but I haven't seen Army of Darkness in a while. It's my least watched of the trilogy.
I have not seen Army of Darkness, but I knew one of the producers. He was a friend of mine.
Oh my god, you have to bring in a tid.
Yeah.
You have to start us off.
I'll scour my memory and see what I can come up with, because I do remember we had like a lot of conversations about it.
Oh my god, stop.
Yeah,
that's so fun.
And he like looked back on it really fondly.
Yeah, I'm excited to. I don't think I appreciated it as because Evil Dead 2 is like my favorite. I didn't appreciate it, so
incredible.
I'm excited for you to.
I'm really excited. Yeah, because I know it's like really campy.
Yeah,
I'm looking.
I feel like both these are gonna be super campy.
It's gonna be a campy pairing.
Trav's gonna have to explain why next time and why he picked who for who, because it does seem like it'd be flipped.
It really does seem like it would be flipped.
He's
it
like,
really
challenge.
Yeah.
Let me challenge the two of you. Great.
Get you out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, he's like, it's not your birthday anymore. It's mine. Yeah, I'm excited to hear why.
I know.
So, because I've not asked.
Yeah, I feel like I need to apologize for my voice this episode. I had meant to shout it out earlier in the episode. I spent all of yesterday morning recording screams for my movie.
Shut up! Why did I guess correctly?
You did. I drove myself out to the middle of nowhere with my fucking Scarlett receiver, my microphone, and just sat in the driver's seat of my car next to a dam so that nobody would like hear the noise from outside the car and just like screamed my head off. And boy, do I feel it. So I'm sorry if I sound super hoarse.
No, I was screaming at football yesterday because the Lions' first game we lost. Sports guys. Also, the weather is getting to me here because we're getting the nice, beautiful, crispy.
Yeah.
That's why I think I'm like, the two of us, we really should have started off the episode warning everybody. Screaming, though. Yeah. I'd be dead if I was like screaming like that.
I think I got a pretty good one, though. I like, this was actually why I had been watching, oh my gosh, what was the horror movie that I was watching clips from that we talked about earlier in the episode? But I watched like a 18-minute video of like screams from across horror movie history broken down, like different kinds of screams and analyses of them. And so, yeah, horror screams, been on the brain, been in the vocal cords.
Oh my gosh.
Don't think my vocal cords are at their best now because of it. Yeah. But if and when y'all watch the film, you'll know that that's actually me.
Oh my god, how fun. I can't wait to see or hear. That's a good reason why. I'm glad I guessed. Anything else? We have, again, Pet Sematary tickets are on sale.
Halloween tickets are on sale.
KRYPT tickets are on sale. And gay horror
merch?
Podcast.
Oh, yes, gay horror.
Not merch. We're on there, so listen to us.
We also have gay horror merch.
Yeah,
but
so we're talking about Tenebrae and just talking about ourselves a little bit. So
it was a fun conversation. I really enjoyed it.
They're delightful. Truly delightful. So guys, go follow and listen to them too.
And watch Tenebrae.
Watch Tenebrae.
Watch Tenebrae. It blew
my mind. The first few seconds blew my mind for reasons we talk about on their podcast. We do have gay merch.
Yes,
we have new merch, so we're excited to kind of tease that. It'll be on sale for the first time at Morgue and KRYPT. So that's where you guys, have to go to Albuquerque to get it.
I'm sure we'll get online sales up at some point.
I know.
That has not happened yet.
Y'all, that's hard.
It
is. Until then, thank you, Warren, for audio. Thank you, Trev, for recording birthday pics. Thanks.
And for picking birthday pics.
And for picking, thanks for picking them.
Yeah.
Something I don't think the two of us would have picked.
No.
So
I'm excited. And I feel like Army of Darkness has been like a long time coming for us.
I know, I'm like really intrigued.
Yeah.
Because I haven't watched it. post being really into fantasy.
Oh.
So I'm very excited, and I'm really excited to watch.
Yeah, Leslie Vernon. I
Yeah.
feel like it's just going to be a wild, fun ride.
I can't remember, did you like Creep?
Yes, I loved Creep.
I feel like my brain's saying it's like same energy.
Does that feel fair?
No? Okay, great. Cool. It'll be
Fantastic.
like the first time for me
Love.
too.
Let's just watch the movie.
Let's just watch the movies.
Same for the pod.
Thank you, Theo, for the music.
Yeah.
That's
Playing
plan.
us out.
Follow us everywhere on social. We're also, just so you guys know, working on maybe releasing these episodes at some point a little bit earlier, under like a little like paid. So on podcast, but it'd be like 3 days earlier for like $3 a month. To again help us create cool merch and try and get stuff online. Actually, is what we're trying to do for you all. So
and the more of you leave us comments saying that you want like bonus, the easier it becomes for us to convince the powers that be to let us do bonus.
Yeah,
so
we're working on that too. So
keep
those
commenting.
we might open up our Patreon again for that at some point. So just keep your eyeballs out. We do have a link in our bio to support the show, to again help us do that and get a shout out. So I'll shut up. Until then, thanks for listening to Splice Splatter,
the film podcast presented by Highgarden Entertainment in Santa Fe, New Mexico, where classic horror
meets modern gore.
And until next time,
we'll be right back.